All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in here. We got a little futures game stream here. We got my man Rhys White, Prospects Live. Jake Kerns, you guys all know him, the head of our pro department over at Prospects Live, and then Chris Blessing, who's at Baseball HQ, amongst other things. Good buddy Chris. I've met him at the Arizona Fall League twice. And a fun fact that Chris probably doesn't even know is he was he still is one of my inspirations to get into this kind of hobby business, and one of the guys I would read all the time, and I kind of modeled my reports after him when I first started doing it. So Chris is the man.
Well, thank you.
One of the legends here.
Yeah, if a fool like me can do it, open the door for a lot of other people, right? And most of them are better than me too, so it's good.
Well, I am not better than you, but I one day will hopefully can strive to get on the level. So I appreciate you joining us. I know you're a busy man. You're only at these events.
I didn't make this one. Had a family obligation, unfortunately, and had to postpone. But I'll definitely be there next year because I have a place to stay pretty close to the stadium. So it's a much cheaper trip to Texas next year.
Okay. Is that is it in Houston or Arlington?
Arlington, yes.
Arlington, okay. The new part that looks like what's that? Farm and Fleet? Looks like a Farm and Fleet store. The whole stadium does with the front. Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to any of these future games?
No. Nope. It's a goal to get out there for sure. Maybe next year.
So, for everybody listening, really and truly, the main event's already happened, which is batting practice, which Major League Baseball does a poor job of, promoting itself, because that's the thing to see, really. We should have, they should have broadcasted that. So we have to rely on people at the site to basically tell us who hit the ball really hard and not. But the Futures game itself's fun too. So, and it's always good to see Ken Griffey Jr. I saw him in Cleveland. I guess he just, this year it makes sense, but I didn't understand why he was in Cleveland. So
he's got the backwards hat on. Jay Buhner, Mike Cameron, all out there. So yeah, and we were talking about him a little bit before we started, but the illustrious Harold Reynolds is managing one of the teams today. So it'd be he's a legend.
There he is. Him and Raul Ibanez. Look at they're showing the staffs.
You got Adrian Beltre on the screen. They got all kinds of guys out here.
Fun fact, I met Mike Cameron at an Arizona Fall League game.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He's a nice
guy. He's all about his kid. I mean, obviously he should be, but him and Daz. I saw Daz this year. No, end of last year when he was in Des Moines. He was playing for the Tigers AAA squad. Mm-hmm. And he got ejected, and then his manager also got ejected, and they had to walk because AAA is funny because the clubhouse is in the outfield. You don't walk up from the dugout in this park; you got to walk all the way down the baseline. So Daz Cameron and Lloyd McClendon were ejected. They had to walk all the way from first base around all the way up the left field line and out the back door. So it was funny to watch. They were getting a little heat from the crowd in Des Moines, Cub fans, obviously.
So talking about Bloodlines players, I mean, obviously Jackson Holliday's a Bloodlines player. We've seen so many good ones over the years. Who is the worst Bloodlines player that you've ever seen?
Oh, man.
Dusty Baker's son has to be it, right? I'm not trying to be mean to the poor guy, but he was pretty.
I haven't seen that. He was in the Futures game last year because
he was.
Obviously, the player pool is not. I don't think a lot of people know how this isn't really an all-star. It's an all-star game, but it's not. There's a lot of limitations on who you can take and who teams make available. And obviously, you're not going to pick 8 shortstops. You kind of have positions to worry about. So, the Nationals were Darren Baker was exposed, and with the all-star game, being around that weekend, Dusty was managing the American League team. So I think they kind of threw him a bone and let his kid come down for the weekend.
So he might be the least good of anybody.
Daz Cameron might be.
What about Dante Bichette Jr.?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. I think he topped
I
out at
saw
Double
him.
A.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I saw him in low A. It was not pretty. I saw Ryan Ripken in low A. Bonilla's kid. He was a left
Pete
field
Rose's kid.
pitcher.
I saw him playing indie ball. Joliet.
That whole Orioles. It was a Delmarva team. It had Ryan Ripken, Bonilla's kid. It had NASCAR's Dale Jarrett, his kid.
Yes. Yeah.
It was like filled with bloodline guys throughout all these sports, and Ryan was probably the least of all those guys.
Yeah. On the mound for the American League team, when I'm watching Owen White warm up, the rare guy that's pitched a couple big league innings before he gets his feature games appearance. Owen White has been interesting. He was solidified in our top 100 in the preseason, but he kind of fell off. Stuff in command kind of backed up on him a little bit this year. 5-pitch mix. He's got a unique cutter as his primary offering almost a little bit in his major league stint this year, but 88 mile an hour cutter / slider, little pitch there, which you're going to see a lot of, and then a 92, 93 mile an hour fastball. Have you ever seen any of you guys seen Owen White, whether in person or video looks?
Yeah, I saw Owen White at the Arizona Fall League in 2021. Spent like maybe 2 innings watching him, and then went over to the backfields because there's a possibility Jack Leiter was going to be there. And, it was a 5-pitch mix. I know that there's been an outbreak if you guys want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, Pete Armstrong hit that ball in the nose, but
he did.
Jonathan Classe ran it down left center field. But yeah, Owen White. Texas has a lot of pitchers, but they've all kind of had their ups and downs development-wise this last couple of years, year and a half. Brock Porter's the one I'm really waiting on, but that's a couple of years down the road. But Cole Winn should help out this year soon, I would think. Jack Leiter, obviously, probably next year. Kumar on the shelf, which is unfortunate. He'll be back, probably be a setup man in no time, if I had to guess.
Probably.
But yeah, there's that little cutter from Owen White there to Lawler on the top of the zone. I might be behind you guys. Apologize.
You're a little bit behind me. I won't give away what just happened.
No, you're good. Jordan Lawler at the plate.
Yeah, and if you realize Jordan Lawler doesn't ever really hit the ball hard, so
I wrote up him in my monstrous futures game preview that I wrote for the site, and I did a lot of contacts and a lot of video looks and some of the few in-person looks I have had recently. And I came to the conclusion that I don't really think Jordan Lawler is a superstar. And I think a lot of people have him overranked in the fantasy world. I have him more of like a top 25 guy as opposed to some people having him in the top 10 or even 5. That's just my feel on Jordan Lawler. I don't know where you guys are.
I'm mid-teens right now. But
okay.
It's mostly because the player pool is so weak.
Yeah, here's Jackson Churio. One thing I'm watching here is I did a dive on him before I wrote my piece, and he's kind of been fighting with himself this year mechanically. I'm looking for that front foot. Where's he striding? Is he striding towards the pitcher, or is he striding in the bucket? And that was in the bucket, and he grounded out, pull side. Yep. But that's the big thing with him. 19 years old in Double-A, so
I think a lot of his struggles, Matt, I think is you could connect with the ball in the Southern League right
sure.
now.
Yeah.
If you looked at video early in the year and compare it to what it's been for the last 2 months, it's obviously that's in the back of his head. Obviously, not everybody here knows what that's all about that's listening to us today, but Southern League, I cover it. It's 25 minutes up the road from me in Chattanooga. They've got this tack that they're using, a pre-tack on the ball. Mm-hmm. Half the pitchers hate it. Half the pitchers love it. All the hitters hate it. There's not a hitter that loves it.
I can imagine. You probably feel uncomfortable when you got all that. The breaking balls are enhanced, and it's not really helping fastball command as much as it's supposed to, right? From my impression.
Not at all.
Not at all. So it's very uncomfortable to get settled in the box when you already, I mean, you're already talking about AA pitchers, so there are not finished products as it is. And now you're throwing another thing at them to where command and control could be an issue. So, yeah, no, I totally understand that. I think that experiment came to an end this month, if I'm not mistaken, beginning of the month.
That's what I believe. I heard the same thing.
So, yeah, hopefully that goes away. Let's see.
Did you guys see Ellie De La Cruz stole second, stole third, and then stole home all in the same thing? That dude's so awesome.
So I got a push notification from MLB.com on that, but I haven't seen the play.
So I forget
I'm happy for
on the mound, but he is lollygagging getting the ball off, and then you see Ellie kind of looks, fakes, and then goes, and it was awesome.
Mick Abel starting for the National League squad. He's a dude, probably a solid future number 2 if I had to put a label on him. Good thing I don't have to yet. I like Abel a lot. I feel like he's not talked about enough in certain circles. In certain circles, he's talked about too much. If that makes any sense. But I'm probably the middleman on Mick Abel. Jake, do you have any strong thoughts on Abel?
Not specifically at the moment. I think your report on him actually did really well in kind of highlighting what he was about. He just touched 99. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. And control, that's going to be the question, I think.
Yeah, I think he's
made for this kind of environment where he's just going to let it air out.
Absolutely. 99 again. Wow. No, not non-competitive pitch, but 99 again, way out of the zone.
You're going to see a nice pitch here in just a sec.
Oh, yeah. Breaking ball at the bottom of the zone.
Curveball.
Yeah, that was nice.
Nice curveball.
That was a good call, Jake. He's pretty much tailor-made for these showcase events.
By the way, on the Pete Crow Armstrong line out last inning, hit it 106.1 miles per hour.
I knew he got a. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's a good call getting that Statcast up for this event. But he I felt it looked like he got a hold of it. It was kind of slicing on him, typical left-handed slice. But he's going to be a dude, and I feel bad for the Mets fans at the same time, but I also feel bad for me because he's a Cubs prospect. So.
I have a media contact that's a Mets fan, grew up a Mets fan, and he said it hurt his heart to watch Pete Crow Armstrong play defense against their team a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I could see why that would be a problem. He looks like the real deal. I think I can't confirm this. Maybe I shouldn't say it, but someone I did hear it from somewhere, but I'm pretty sure he's getting promoted after this event.
I mean, that's the rumor. I actually.
Oh, you've heard it too. Okay. Yeah, well, there we go.
On this week's Eyes Have It podcast, I said the same thing. The rumor.
Perfect. Okay.
Rumor's been for about 2 weeks that he was going to be called up. Meyer just singled up the middle on a 99-mile-per-hour fastball. Marcel Meyer of the Boston Red Sox.
I really like him. I think he's got underrated power myself. But.
If PCA does come up in the next couple of weeks, I'll see him live, and I'll have something for the side on that. He's in my backyard at that point.
Perfect. You're a Cubs fan trapped, or a Royals fan trapped in a Cubs fan's body.
It's pretty accurate, unfortunately.
Yeah, PCA was in town last week, but I had a funeral to go to. Pretty much sucked my whole week, but I'm going to give big ups to the Chattanooga Lookouts video guy, video editing guy, David Pasqua, a friend of mine who just got me every shot that I needed. You don't understand. Like home's to first, home to second, home to third. Clearly, wow. I mean, it was a dream. So it was very good to, even though I missed him, I was still able to write him up.
No, that's great to have connections like that.
Well, I didn't even
going to
ask.
games.
It just he's just that good. So like it
Perfect.
worked
Even
out.
better.
I just wish that feed had miles per hour. That would be would make it a great feed. But soon they're getting a new stadium in Chattanooga, so I'm sure all that's going to be upgraded in the coming years.
Oh yeah, hopefully all that stuff for me. Hopefully, I have a bad feeling of when all these teams get standardized under the Hawkeye stuff. There's going to be no even free AAA and high A anymore. I think it's all going to be kind of pushed out of the public space. That's just my hypothesis, but I feel like if they know they can monetize it, they will. Talking about like the Hawkeye data, you know what I mean?
I don't know if they're. I mean,
I don't
truly,
know.
like right now. I mean, right now they've locked so many people out of that Hawkeye data anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, we were the track band stuff. It was easily attainable in years. I mean, I'm not going to admit to having data right now or not. So, but like of course, we've got the AAA data, and we also got the Florida State League data. Do you feel like that the evaluations of those guys are overhyped because there's data out there?
Yeah, I do. And I also feel like a lot of people only hype up guys because they have the data and they know it's good. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of people hyping up guys with data that they know is mediocre and I guess, I mean, it's nice to kind of have some of the answers before you take the test, I suppose. But I get it both ways. I mean, it's an important thing, but I think there's too much weight put on it. If you can play to a certain extent, I'm going to put on my dad hat, but if you can play, you can play to a certain extent, right? Like, I mean, I think that's kind of how that works. Harry Ford stepping in. He's a guy that I'm irrationally in love with as a prospect.
I loved him when I saw him last year. You know, he has this whole pre-game like breathing routine. It's very interesting. I've never seen it before, and it felt like an hour, but I couldn't stop watching it because I was there during BP, and he's just doing like this little lifting, breathing routine, and I was like, I guess that's how you can like tell the difference between like someone who's serious about it and someone who's not. He was really good that game. He's such a good athlete for a catcher too.
He went to high school about 50 minutes south of me, and I got to see him a few times in high school. And that breathing technique was around even then. So it's something that he's long done. Great kid, supposedly from a really great family as well.
Good.
It was a pleasure scouting him. I see a lot of prep prospects that aren't necessarily a pleasure to watch. So it was always great to get Ford coverage when I was able to get Ford coverage.
Ford was fun to watch during the WBC too. I saw him. He was a catcher for the England, Great Britain squad. And he was their best player hitting fourth. And it was funny because him and Trace Thompson were in the middle of the lineup. And another guy in this game, I think BJ Murray was, on that squad too.
I saw him at the World Baseball Classics. I went to the game that the USA played against them, and he, obviously you could tell that he was different than the major leaguers in the USA squad. But I really you could just tell he was just he's come a long way as a catcher. Like he's not as raw as he was last year, which I was really excited to see.
I saw the MLB.com comp they threw up on Craig Biggio and Russell Martin is what they put for Harry Ford.
That's like the two athletic catchers minus Jason Kendall and just going.
But they picked, right. They could have just skipped both of them and went to JT Realmuto, but they didn't.
They didn't. But that's okay.
Blown away.
Unfortunately, he just struck out. So
yeah, Abel blew him away with that fastball. Nick Abel is very fun. Tink Hence is going to pitch the next inning for the NL. That's I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, we've seen him.
We have.
We've seen him
play his teammate Jordan Walker.
Yes.
In one of the craziest moments in Arizona Fall League history when they ran out of pitching, so they had to use a pitcher from the other team, and then he came in and had to face the Cardinals contingent of Tink Hence had to face Jordan Walker as the last out of the game, and Walker hit a decent fly ball to center field, but Tink Hence got the last laugh on that. But that was an unusual thing. Can't remember ever seeing that.
Yeah,
Not
the
that I've
fall
been to that
league.
many, but-
And it's funny too because it was like the fall league. Oh, let's just say this: Fall Stars pitching was actually fairly good this year.
Yeah.
But the league in general is bad, and for them to not use Hentz until like after the game for the other team was kind of hysterical in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. Wasn't it one of those things where the umpires didn't stay out for the bottom half because the game was technically over, but they just wanted to get everybody in the game?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The umpires kind of just walked off the field because the game was technically over, but they played the bottom half of the ninth anyways.
Yeah, it was a strange game, afternoon game because they had to move the game. It just wasn't fun. I mean, we had fun.
We made it as fun as we did.
Kind of a dud. The game was a dud.
Yeah. I can't recommend the week enough though if you're a baseball nut. I mean, it's constant wall-to-wall baseball, and then obviously you guys' event for HQ is second to none as well. I mean, First Pitch Arizona is great. If you can swing it, you should do it, no doubt.
Right now we have a special going on right now.
Perfect.
The things November 2nd to 5th our scheduled pricing I think goes to July 31st. Just check out baseballhq.com for that. Sorry.
You're good. Everything's walking distance from the hotel last year. I mean, that park was right there.
Yep,
Mesa.
same park.
It's beautiful setting. The hotel's nice. It's great. James Wood is who I got on my screen right now.
Yes.
Will Klein from the Royals, Eastern Illinois. So big ups to kind of local to me, but not really. It's like 4 hours away still. But Will Klein, the guy that everyone's waiting to see, and then James Wood, who's meh, right?
Yeah, I mean I actually had. I've said this multiple times. I had like the worst look at him in 2021 as a draft prospects, and it really kind of panned him. So he might be my biggest miss ever.
But is it a miss if they don't perform in front of you? I mean, if you're seeing
well,
bad,
I mean, it was really bad.
Did,
I could never release the video of his swings
Sure.
because it's for a team. But if you had seen these swings and seen this kid swing right now, you'd be like, that's not the same guy.
We had something similar. I mean, he's obviously not the level of prospect, but Alec Thomas was in Kane County before it went away, RIP. And I probably saw him, probably 6, 7, 8 games out there. So I put together every single at bat and open face video and just put it on YouTube and whatever. And his dad DM'd me and said, everything you have is ground out. I said, I can't make it. He said, your son's a hell of a player, but from everything I saw was just a chopped ground ball to the pull side. Like, that's just what it was. And I put the video up because of the swing, not really because of the result. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it's just bad luck. You get bad looks at guys when you go see them. It is what it is.
Saw a lot of Novi Marte from the Reds this year.
Oh yeah, that's because Chattanooga, right.
Yeah, it was always good for me, and then the other team is really not good. But it was great.
We saw him.
Marte.
Marte was in Arizona as well. He was dog tired. He looked like crap. Honestly.
Dog tired, and also working on mechanics. That's another thing in the Arizona Fall League that you get a lot of times. They're working on stuff while they're there too. There's a reason why a Marte got sent there. And whatever it was, I can't remember now what he was exactly working on. One of our contacts had told us, but it seems to have worked itself out.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then another thing that I noticed too is I don't know if you remember Arizona last year when we went. It was kind of cold, and he was all bundled up in like the ski mask. He was in a ski mask. It was like 60, but like he was in like the ski mask thing, standing at third base, learning a new position, kind of just shivering. It's like, well, he wasn't having too much fun in Arizona, but
he's not going to
he's a hell of a prospect.
Cincinnati then. He was.
Yeah.
I liked him when I saw him. I remember there was no video out of him when he got promoted to Single A, and I was like so excited. I thought I got his first home run, and like luckily no one can see what happens behind the camera. I'm fist pumping. And then they have to go to this review, and these fans are booing. I've never been in a minor league environment where these Dodger fans, because it's like an hour and a half away from the Dodgers, Rachel Cucamonga is, and they go crazy there. They're all staring at me, like people are giving me the eye, like giving me death glares and everything, because I'm just like fist pumping. I'm like, yes, I just got Noelvi Marte's first home run because he got screwed over by the COVID shortened or COVID eliminated season. And then it ended up being a double, and I was like, "This sucks. This is awful."
Jackson Holiday with a bad feed over there to Nick York at second. Should have been double play, but they only get the one out.
Got to knock that prospect status down.
Yeah, he's number 2 now. Number 2 now. Andy Rodriguez is up, not in Pittsburgh yet, but at the plate.
I think he there's people always ask what's the difference between a regular prospect list and a fantasy prospect list, and I always see Andy Rodriguez too high on fantasy list.
I can agree with that. I'm probably guilty of that though, but I think you're right.
Like the whole package is great for an all-around player type deal, or I shouldn't say great, good, solid. But as a fantasy asset, it's not going to be as productive as maybe a catcher. Maybe
I haven't seen him too much this year, but if the power's a concern, it kind of looks like it's gone backwards this year. But again, there's a lot of variables that I haven't been really paying attention to. I did write it. Ooh, it was a good cut though. He's not getting cheated, as he shouldn't in the showcase. He's had a forearm injury this year where he missed some time on a throw down to second. He left the game after that with an arm injury, which is always troubling for a catcher. But maybe he's just kind of pressing because he's seeing everybody get called up around him. You see Henry Davis, Nick Gonzalez. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But he belongs with that group. And the Pirates have an interesting – I'm hesitant to say core because I'm not convinced all those guys are star players, but they'll have a fun.
We got a challenge here.
Oh, there it is. O'Neal Cruz should be back, and he's going to give that team a nice jolt next year too.
Yes. So it was a ball. First challenge. I think. I guess I should be paying attention to the game a little more.
That was a ball by a considerable amount. But
yeah. Klein's having a little problems with his control right now. Probably a really big spot for him, given him.
Yeah.
His prospect pedigree is not what all of these hitters that he's facing are.
He's Klein is a guy. When I was doing my futures game preview thing, he has like a new pitch that kind of changes trajectory a little bit with that little slider cutter that he really typically hasn't thrown. But right now, his fastball command is what's failing him today at this young start of the game, anyways. For him, I guess he's almost done though. He's only pitching an inning, but
yeah. Marte just stole third base. It's a nice jump, challenging the arm of Ford. Not the greatest throw in the world.
Caminero picked it. Nice pick.
It was a really nice pick.
Caminero's listed at it's funny. He's got the worst listed weight to actual weight of anyone in the minors. It's listed at one. I want to say it's absurd. It's 155 or something, but he's 185 solid. He's
157, 6'1", 157 is what MILB has him.
Yeah, I'll take the over on that.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on? Sorry, Chris. I was going to ask you guys what you guys think about Marte's athleticism after him taking that base.
I think he's above average athlete. That's where I have him.
He wasn't looking too athletic for me when I saw him last year, so I'm pleasantly surprised.
I was going to say that was the criticism as we were kind of ending the season last year, so I was curious.
He looked a little filled out in the fall league, but again, that could have been the multiple layers he was wearing because he was cold.
Oh man,
we got the first run. Jackson Holiday did not get a ball that he probably should have gotten, ranging towards the third base area.
Oh, yeah.
His right.
He's now number 3. Now he's down to number 3.
I mean, I'll give it to him. It was a rougher bounce, but Jefferson Cuero is a catcher. I mean,
I like Cuero.
He had some time to get him.
Yeah, he did. Cuero's a good athlete for a catcher. I was surprised with him when I did a deeper dive for this preview and just watching him from some games this year. I haven't seen him in person, obviously. Oh, yeah, I have. I saw him in
Yes, you have.
Yep. So I'm mistaken on that. I have. I got some good BP video of him, actually, now that I think about it. But
yeah. I saw Cuero this year, and he hit like 5 home runs for me in 2 games. So,
holy cow.
Best player I've seen all year, clearly. It was funny watching him go up, some of these other prospect sites, elevating him after a really good series in Chattanooga this year, which isn't the easiest place to hit, but like literally he hit the same ball 5 times. Same pitch, same location. The scouting report had like I think he hit 4 of the home runs off of one guy. The Tuesday starter, who was also the Sunday starter. Oh my God, it's going to bother me. I'll look it up.
What do you think? What was his name? Who's the manager for the American League squad again? What do you think
Harold?
he tells them? Harold, what do you think he's out there telling them? Like, do you think he's giving them their comps for them, just like on the side, just to hype them up a little bit? Or
hey, they told me you were Jonathan Broxton. You don't look like him, or whatever, or whatever it was. You know what I mean?
He's probably telling them who he knows or something like that. He's like, Ken Griffey's over there, and you just disappointed him.
Yeah, come on, man.
Oh, the prospect that Jefferson Cuero hit 4 home runs off of this year over 2 games was Sam Ben Shotter, a pitcher in the Reds organization. Throws low 90s with a breaker. Okay. Looks like maybe a up-down reliever at some point. So he did do it off a guy who's probably going to be in the major leagues, but still, I wasn't that I was impressed because I've never seen someone hit 3 home runs in a game, while scouting. But still, I was not I didn't elevate my scouting report based on that.
It's got to be hard to rein it in sometimes if you see somebody be that good. But again, you also been around enough where okay, well, this isn't typical. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But
yeah, when you do it for 13 years and you've messed up on it before, you don't get too hyped.
Right.
I was gonna say, have you ever seen 3 home runs in a game doing this whole scouting thing, or
that was the first time? That was the first time.
That was first time. All right.
First time scouting that I got 3 times. Yeah.
I want to welcome Chris Clegg to the show. Everyone knows Chris. He's great on Twitter. Roto Clegg is the Twitter handle.
Huge microphone.
Yeah, it's good. It's a huge microphone, but it doesn't pick up sound. So
it's on mute, dude.
There you go.
Well, that would help. That would be nice if I had clicked the on button on my interface. But thanks for having me on. Looking forward to chatting with you all.
No, it's all good, man. Casual talk about some ball. May or may not have an adult beverage or 2 while you're drinking. This is just soda, so don't worry about it. But no, just have some good times and for some reason there's a 22 player trade on my screen. The Joey Cantillo trade from the Padres to the Guardians. Did you know he was drafted in 2017 and he's in the futures game now?
That's wild.
I mean, he's been hurt a lot.
Yeah, no, it's not his fault. Yeah, COVID pandemic and all that stuff. He's a guy I was looking forward to seeing in these short bursts though, because he can hit 98 supposedly. So I want to see it.
And
he's 95.
He's seen Ryan Bliss too from Auburn and from Troup County, which
the
is
national or the minor league hits leader, which I did not know.
Yeah, I mean he's having a great year. It's
fantastic year.
Cool.
He was great at Auburn, and he was just a fun player to watch. Kind of highlight reel plays at shortstop, and then I saw him last year on video, and I was like, "This doesn't look like the same guy." And I guess he's back to that. So it's good to see him, good. And I don't know with that. He's obviously short and has a small stature, but I think he's enough for him to play. Like I really do.
I
I
do
really
too.
think he's a good player. This is a guy that we had some discussions on. Sorry,
Go ahead.
in our chat, in our Prospects Live Discord chat, and then we had a question about the ultimate ceiling of Justin Crawford. I hand up am not the guy to ask because players of this archetype are not my MO. I don't really enjoy the 20 grade. Well, it plays like 20 power because of how much he hits the ball on the ground.
I mean, it's a negative launch angle.
Yeah, no, it very much is. And I don't know if you're going to get much power, number one, obviously, because he's not a big dude. Number two, if you want power, you're going to have to rework everything. And I don't know if that's something the Phillies are interested in doing. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on Crawford.
I know Jake has thoughts on Crawford. Jake does not like Crawford. I'm just kidding.
That's not a true statement. I actually like the athleticism quite a bit, and I think you were talking about ultimate upside. I think that actually might be his dad, but he's not going to get there based off of everything you just said.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean,
there's not a single big leaguer that has his ground ball rate.
No.
And it's the Phillies, too.
Yeah, when's the last Phillies hitting prospect that's Mickey Moniak's having a decent year with the Angels, but that's not with the Phillies. Adam Hazley's in AAA somewhere, I think.
Bohm's just kind of been Bohm since he was drafted.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who's Logan O'Hoppe? They developed him pretty all right, but that's kind of like
but he's also not there anymore.
What a play by Class A in center
good
field.
up there.
Nice.
You guys are ahead of me. I guess I'm about to see it right now.
Yeah,
At least Crawford got the ball in the air.
He did.
Yeah.
Took that low pitch and bottom handed up in the swing.
Got to put a little star by that one.
He has a 71% ground ball rate this year.
Yeah, that's incredible. I didn't have sack fly for Justin Crawford in my bingo card for the fall league, but he got one. So, but 71% ground ball rate is incredible. Jake, were you saying that who's the highest big league ground ball rate?
So for any player with more than 50 at bats, it's Michael Busch, and it's at 65. If you count guys that are qualified, it's Tim Anderson.
Oh, okay.
It's a good play by Class A.
That was a good play. Class A had a nice power outburst this year. Kind of probably part of it due to Everett because Everett's a launching pad, but the whole league out there kind of is Northwest League.
Whole league, yes.
But Class A, have you seen Class A in your Southern League looks yet, Chris?
He's not in the Southern League. Jackson.
I thought he was in Double A.
Texas.
Yeah, Jackson got.
They moved him. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be in the Southern League.
Ray Butler was in Jackson, Tennessee, and just like you, Matt, he lost his affiliate too.
Yeah, that's right.
Damn minor
my bad.
baseball.
My bad.
I like Class A when I saw him last year. He was another one of these guys that I saw struck out a little bit more than you'd think he would, but I thought the power outburst is pretty nice to see as well. He stole almost 60 bags last year in Single A. Yeah, 55. That was crazy. He was just stealing like that, right?
Cantillo blows away Pete Crow Armstrong with the fastball there.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a Tom Glavine comp in that dugout when he gets there. It's like, I used to see Tom Glavine. He did that when he was young.
Yep. He threw with the same hand as you. That's crazy, Joey. Yeah. I love Harold. We're going to get a full dose of Harold this weekend. It's going to be great. You guys, I don't know if I mentioned this on air, but my favorite Harold Reynolds draft comp, we were talking about it before we started. My favorite Harold Reynolds draft comp of all time was when he described Will Benson as a cross between Miguel Cabrera and Jason Hayward, which could not be more different at the time even, right? One's an athletic stud defender in right, and one's just a first baseman only that can mash a ton. And it was fun.
I can't wait for tomorrow. Some of the comps tomorrow. I want to know what he thinks of like Paul Skeens. Like I'm dying to know what kind of comp he goes on Paul Skeens and all that.
I mean, it's got to be Don Drysdale, right? I don't know.
Man.
Well, what were some of the World War II era players that were in the Air Force? It'll be one of those pictures.
Came back from war, threw 100.
Just like him, he was in the Air Force. Harold, there was no Air Force in World War II.
Nice, beautiful view of Seattle. If you guys ever get a chance to go out there, it's a pretty awesome place. Very sad. This is the second best place. Better than not talking about the game.
I have never been to Seattle. I don't know if it's on my list to go to or not, if I'm being honest. But
It's been about 10 years since I've been there, but it's a really beautiful city. Cool place.
Is
Wish
the
I was
Harold
going
Reynolds? Is the Harold Reynolds statue downtown, or is it by the ballpark?
It's in Puget Sound.
Perfect. On the bottom of it, right?
Yeah, somewhere in the bottom.
Tink Hence on the mound. I know 3 of us have seen him in person in Arizona. Had a little scare this year with a chest injury, which turned out to be relatively minor. I feel like the Cardinals got lucky because he's back out here still throwing 98. But I've noticed from watching his games, he's kind of going to the curveball more than the slider. After that, I don't know if it's related to that or anything. I didn't know if anybody had any interesting thoughts on Tink Hence and what he's. I think we all agree the upside is pretty high. I mean, he's such an athlete. Look at the delivery, the extension he gets down the mound. The one concern I have is the frame, but I mean, you can't really do much about that, right? It's just kind of going to happen. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But it's one of my.
I discount him like 5 to 10 points on any of my rankings because of the frame.
No, I get it, man.
You just don't see it. You don't see that frame.
Do you ghost right under the name KLAW?
I do not.
Because he's a really big Keith Law is a really big anti-small starter guy.
Yeah.
I get it. There's not a lot of guys like that. Marcus Stroman is probably the most successful one in the most recent couple of years, right?
Yes.
Sonny Gray's pretty all right, like for a smaller guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not as good as Stroman though, but yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I do understand that.
I'm not Keith Law. I don't have the vocabulary to be Keith Law. So.
I certainly don't. I used to say.
He also. I don't know if Chris was around for this, but he taught me how to say Ben Kaderna's name.
Yeah. It was we were on the backfield.
Like Moderna. Kaderna like Moderna, and it helped out,
Yeah, we were all like trying to figure out how to pronounce his name. I remember. Which he's looked stellar this year. Actually, he's been really good. I've seen him a couple times live, and Kaderna's been awesome. Much more impressive than Mazzucato, I'll say that.
Really?
That's impressive.
Yeah,
that's what the video looks on those guys have also said too.
Yeah,
Hence dropped 2 nice breaking balls on Caminero here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the rub right now on Cabanero is handling the breaker.
Yeah.
Are they talking to Harold?
They are talking to Harold. Oh, Hence is electric. I'm excited. He's probably the Cardinals' second best pitcher right now, and he's in Double A now. So it's been a terrible year. I don't even wear Cardinal stuff anymore. I'm embarrassed. I'm in Chicagoland area, so I can't. There's a lot of pent-up aggression against me. So
I had to bust out the Tigers hat today. They threw a combined no-hitter, which I normally think are lame, but the Tigers don't have anything else going on for them, so I need to celebrate where I can.
I love
the
daily sheet.
Montreal Expos today.
I love the daily sheet.
Going college. I got South Carolina on my shirt.
There you go. Rhys, I got Oklahoma State because Jordan Holiday.
Nice.
Jackson Holiday.
Yeah.
No, but I love how in our daily sheet we always rag on combined no hitters, and Rhys had one today with his Tigers. So now all of a sudden they're good, huh?
They're all right. They're all right. Listen, when you have to deal with the crap that I have to watch in the Tigers, and I do watch every game, it's just rough. Ooh. It's not been fun.
Tyler Soderstrom on the hitting now. He's in AAA for the for the A's in Vegas. I don't know. I was so high on Soderstrom when he came out of the draft and came through the minors and his quick ascent, but I don't know how you guys feel about him.
Single up the middle.
Yeah, just stung a
Kinda
90-mile fastball up the middle.
Well, maybe I'm cool with that. Oh, if he would have hit Tink, I'd have been on the next plane.
Well, I'm just surprised that there's two athletics prospects in this game, him and Lawrence Butler. Both of
I like Lawrence Butler too. Butler's been impressive this year too. He's changed a lot. He's making more contact and better swing decisions, and he's legitimately looks like he is an everyday guy somewhere now. It's
Justin Henry Malloy is up right now. That's Govier's guy. Didn't Govier go to his?
Oh, that was an impressive fall league thing. Yeah, he went to his house and interviewed him, I believe. In the fall league. Did I have that story correct?
Yeah.
Govier
these things happen at First Pitch Arizona, everybody.
Right.
You might get to interview a player
in their house, right? Or something.
He went to his apartment.
That's right. Yeah. It's a crazy story. I'm sure the Tigers love to hear it. Well, he wasn't a Tiger prospect then, so there's nothing to do with them. But
I've seen a lot of Malloy through the years because he was at Georgia Tech for that season and then in the Braves organization.
That breaking ball's nasty.
Hit the ball hard. Not the best athlete in the world. Doesn't look good defensively anywhere. It's a hard profile to project.
It's like a DH.
Ball hard a lot of times. And also, like, there's not really, I don't know how he's doing this year because once they get up to AAA, I don't really care. But yeah. Oh, here they show the stats on Q. 276, 14 home runs.
He's got that on base percentage and pull side power down. Just the rest of the game. Don't ask him about that. But probably a left fielder because their third baseman is pretty freaking good. Colt Keith.
Another challenge.
And
that's a ball.
Clearly a ball.
It was a ball.
Man, they're showing up this umpire on national. Well, not on national television. On the third biggest streaming baseball network there is.
Hey, but at least MLB Network right now is airing Pride of the Yankees, so there's competition for that airline for the airtime.
Isn't it such a joke that you have to have a Peacock subscription to watch this?
Yeah, it really is. Grow the game, though.
Yeah.
But it's helpful for me because I don't have until college football season. I don't have cable or like YouTube TV or anything like that. But from what I understand, MLB Network is not on YouTube TV anymore.
Yeah, so. I feel like they could put it on MLB TV.
I'm surprised they don't.
I'm surprised that on MLB Network they don't even air minor league games. You think they would maybe once a week or something, but they don't even do that. Actually, who does have minor league games out by me is the Marquee, the Cubs network. Mm-hmm. They have a minor league game on one night a week. They switch different affiliates, and then our Lance Brozdowski used to be with Prospects Live and a bunch of other places. He hosts with Jim Callis a minor league show once a week on the network, and it's pretty great.
Yeah, Lance is awesome.
Very sharp.
Subscribe to his Substack, by the way. It's worth the read. Like, it's really good. If anyone's
I need to do that. I need to write that.
I do. I need to do that.
Myself.
It's all about like pitch shape and everything for the major leagues. I find it like it's a great way to like start my morning. Then I do my immaculate grid. Then I go and write the daily sheet. It's a great way to start off my morning.
Immaculate grid makes me upset sometimes because a lot of times like there's obscure transactions. Like there was a backup catcher the other day that I was like, I'm going to use him. He played for this team and this team. It turns out like he only played for the Tigers AAA team, not the big league team. So I was like, so that's wrong. But it shouldn't be wrong because he's in the organization. But like, it's just
my knowledge of major league like rosters over the last 5 years has completely evaporated because I don't watch I don't watch any major league games really anymore. So like I just end up watching the minor leagues. Ever since I got contracted with the organization, I didn't have a rooting
That could change
interest.
it. Yeah,
kind
I
of
could be
changed
bought
it.
too. So yeah, no.
Well, I didn't
get
get
it.
bought. I guess I have, but yeah, I grew up a lifetime Mets fan, and that's kind of it put me out of my misery, I guess.
Yeah, it's the Mets are getting a lot more hype than the Cardinals are, but they've been equally disappointing because they're both not going to make the playoffs. So it's been a year. Braves are Chris,
Just
you're just
dominating.
running away with it.
But anything can happen, though. I mean, the Braves were 10 and a
yo,
half back.
we
10 and a half
we
back to the
certainly
Mets
know
last
that.
year. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, right.
yeah,
They did it
they're
to
playing
somebody
hot.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I feel like the Mets are so far back. It's like 18, I think, last I saw.
Yeah.
yeah.
But they're
I'm
on
gonna
a winning streak.
We'll shift gears a tiny bit. I wanted to get you guys' input. There's a massive. I mean, Chris Blessing. I know you're probably limited on what you can maybe even say, but we're talking about a little bit about the draft. Is there anybody you're looking forward to? Like any prospects out here you think are a perfect fit for your team or any team that you're excited about, or excited to see what happens in the top three? Any insider feelings on what happens with the top three picks here? Are the Pirates really going to mess this thing up?
Possibly.
I don't think they do. I'll be honest. I don't think they do. I think this is just to get people riled up. It's the same thing. Everybody knew Casey Mize was going to go to the Tigers. Sorry, I mentioned Casey Mize because I know that's probably a sore spot for Rhys since he's going to be hurt for the rest of his career probably. But like all of a sudden, everybody was like, "Oh, they're interested in Joey Bart," and it was like, "No, they're not." Like
Man.
they were
Joey
barely
Bart,
at Joey Bart games.
What a bad draft looking back on it now. Like that top of
Yeah.
those top college hitters, Nick Madrigal, Joey Bart, Casey Mize. Oh,
It's
man.
rough.
The Nick Madrigal pick was horrible at the time too, because who take college second baseman? Why? It just second base only guys on the infield. Where are you going to go? Like if you don't max out, especially him, like if he doesn't max out, which he has, it's easy low hanging fruit to say now because he hasn't. But I mean, college second baseman, where else is he going to go? If you can't play second base, you got a corner outfielder that doesn't have a lot of power. In his case, no power, but he's not going to play. It's just I don't like second baseman in period in the first round of a draft. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but that's where I'm at with that.
Chorio with a long fly out there.
Yeah. Cantillo got Lawler on a nice changeup, though, swinging the pitch before.
Yeah. Cantillo, it's fun to see him in this little short burst role because he might actually have to pitch out of the bullpen for the Guardians because they have a lot of pitching, a lot of young pitching.
Yeah, that changeup was 1,400 spin rate on it. I mean, it just died. 29 inches of vertical drop, 13 horizontal break.
Speaking of changeups, you know who's pitching for the NL next inning is Carson Wisenhunt.
There you go. Another lefty
So
changeup.
if you want to see a changeup, there you go.
Yeah.
James Wood.
Man, I want to say so many jokes about Carson Wisenhunt, and I'm not going to do it.
So do I. I'm not going to. No one else will get it either, so it's not going to.
Yeah.
No.
No one else is going to get it either because you had to be in the small select group out in Arizona to even know what we're talking about. But,
Yeah.
He was so bad that start too. Like
that was maybe 30 command, maybe of the fastball,
he was he
maybe.
could not command anything.
And then obviously if you're changeup dominant and you can't command your fastball, you're pretty much you're in trouble. And no breaking ball, as we. Not to bag on him, I do like him, but I'm always leery of changeup heavy arms because especially ones that don't have breaking ball. Because if fastball's not working, your changeup's toast too, right?
Yeah, I mean, kind of look at what Gavin Stone. I mean, like leading with a changeup and what that's happened with him in the majors. The fastball's fine, but got to the slider more.
I mean, I was watching a video this week of Jordan Wicks for the Cubs, another guy that doesn't really throw a breaking pitch. Fastball, changeup, and changeup's really good, but the fastball isn't. And, I don't know what to make of him really. I said that he could become a solid fantasy guy, our average fantasy guy, but like I really think he's up down pitcher, and that's a first round pick from was it 2021?
Kansas State. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Cubs are doing incredible things with their pitchers this year, though, in the minors. I do want to say that.
They are.
Yeah. Watching
it
Michael
pains me to say
Arias.
it. I was just going to bring him up, a guy that,
Ah, Nasty.
Have you seen him down there? Because he's in your
Awesome.
kind of area, right?
No, he was in Myrtle Beach. I never got to see him.
Okay.
But he's bumped up to South Bend now.
Yeah.
I feel like he's like really raw, but like the stuff is incredible.
Reese, you'll appreciate this. He was in a combined no-hitter 2 days ago. He started the game.
That's great. Good for him.
There he
Combined
is.
no hitters are awesome. Told you I got nothing else. I got nothing else. I'm waiting for Colt Keith to get called up. Justin Henry Malloy possibly to get called up, and that's pretty much all I got to look forward to.
You're going to get an awesome draft pick tomorrow, though.
Yeah. Maybe Dylan Cruz. Like
That would be
question mark,
wild.
hopefully.
Yeah.
I would do backflips if they got Dylan Cruz.
Is that who you want of all the guys?
I think Dylan Cruz would be the guy that I would want. I just don't think I really don't think Pittsburgh is gonna like play it like. Are you really gonna save money and use that like savings and draft like 2 pitchers? It seems like the people want them to do. I just am like skeptical of what Pittsburgh is actually going to not take Dylan Cruz. And then it seems like Washington is like doing no smoke screens at all. It's like we're drafting Paul Skeens if he's here. We don't know what we're gonna do afterwards. It seems like
Right.
if he's not there.
Yeah. I think the Tigers get Langford or Cruz, one or the other. It depends
Yeah,
on
that's not a bad seat to be in,
no,
right?
not at all.
Langford in any other year would be like a normal, like easy 1-1 pick. Excuse my dog.
Mhm. No, you're good, man.
It's
I got
okay.
kids and a dog, so I get it.
Yeah.
Here's Wizenhunt.
Wizenhunt's on right
Oh,
now.
man.
He's painting the corners, right on the lines.
If he would have had a regular senior or regular last year at East Carolina, does he make it to? Does he play himself into the first round, or is he too inconsistent to where he would have fallen? I mean, it's a big mystery. We can't answer this question; it's impossible because he didn't pitch. But if people don't know, at East Carolina, he was suspended for PEDs and then missed the entire season. He still got drafted in the second round, which it seemed to be worked out based
They
off.
got really good money, like got over slot, right?
Yeah, I think so. But
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes not. Sometimes showing that you're good and then just not pitching works out because you still get paid.
I mean, he is working the corners here,
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he looked really good on that.
right on the line.
He is taking advantage of this terrible strike zone that we have to deal with. So
94, right? Dotting at the knees. Jackson Holiday doesn't have a chance on that.
No, not one bit.
So I watched an interview with Holiday on the Peacock channel before when I was waiting for the game to load up, and he was talking about the Orioles and how he's invested in that because he's played in the spring training with all these guys. And he said Colton Cowser was in the exact same spot where he's at this year and got called up a year later. So he said that's his goal, to be in the big leagues in this next year at this time for him to be in Baltimore.
It's realistic.
Yeah,
Very realistic.
As he strikes out.
I don't know.
I mean, the Orioles player development's doing great things.
They are.
It's incredible.
There.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good time to be an O's fan.
Yeah.
I'm big on Heston Kjerstad too. I like him a lot. The power's easy. I know he's limited in what he can do defensively, but I don't care because left-handed power in that park's not affected by that new dimension. So he's still a 30 home run bat in that park.
they've been playing him at first more often lately too, which I find interesting. I don't know if that's like for a trade or if that's just to just have him try it out.
I don't know, but Ryan Mountcastle's not all that impressive, especially if they move the ballpark back, right?
Yep.
Low OBP pull side power guy in a park where all of a sudden it's way more difficult to hit home runs can hurt, right? And Baltimore is still Baltimore. He's about to get expensive coming out of his team controlled years too. So I would not be surprised if he's moved.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in this next couple of weeks, but in the offseason at least.
Yeah. I bet they moved Joey Ortiz. There's just not a fit there for him right now. Just so many middle infielders. So
Yeah, I like Ortiz. Westberg's up there, obviously, too.
Yeah.
Ortiz is a fun player. He's really come along offensively.
Yep. Made a lot of improvements with the power
Yeah.
and contact.
Yeah.
They got some dudes in their minor league, the lower minors. I love Samuel Basalo. Every video I see of him, he is just nuts. He has like really good plate coverage. I think he can actually kind of catch too, which is really nice. I wonder if he gets moved at the deadline or anything to bolsters their pitching staff.
Yeah,
They could definitely use a pitcher, man. Maybe they'll call the White Sox and get some Lance Lynn or something.
get Lynn, go after Bieber,
Something like that.
Party and straighten Bieber.
Yeah.
They have so many arms.
Something's got to give.
Yeah. The O's have an arm that I love at the lower level. Zach Showalter. He's been incredible.
I've seen he's been popping off. I haven't seen him pitch, but I've seen the data looks pretty nice too from what I've seen.
Yeah. Watched a couple starts, and he's like 95, 96, really flat approach angle. His sweeper gets a ton of sweeping action. Good arm side run on the changeup. Like, he's just been highly impressive.
Rich get richer. They got a lot of fun arms.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Edgar Cuero was in the game. I figured since the game was in Seattle, they would have let Harry Ford play a little longer.
Yeah, that's a good call. Or at least DH Terry Ford so we can stay in the game the whole time or something. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder how tight these teams are on, like, you only play my guy an inning or we'll come kill you or something.
I wonder if they're just letting Harold Reynolds coach the team. Like, they're like, you just do what you think. And, you know, maybe he's like Danny Glover in Angels in the Outfield. And he saw an angel near him or something. Or I had a kid tell him that there was an angel near him. I don't know.
I didn't know Matthew McConaughey was in that movie, by the way. It snuck up on me.
Yes, he was, yeah.
Yeah, snuck up on me. He was a center fielder. Got picked up by the
Jordan Gordon-Levitt was in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an all-star cast. Tony Danza.
Incredible stuff.
I didn't know I was going there, but I did, apparently.
But, hey, that's what we're here for. All that kind of content there.
Who's pitching now?
Jonathan
Cannon, White Sox.
Yeah.
Former
I saw him.
University of Georgia pitcher.
Yeah, I saw
Georgia
him.
Bulldog.
He pitched in Greenville earlier this year and was solid. It took him he threw 7 innings, took like 76 pitches, only like 2 strikeouts, just like hyper efficient. So
this is the White Sox MO when they're drafting college guys. Guys that don't really overpower, don't throw, don't have premium stuff, and
yeah,
it hasn't really worked out for the White Sox, has it?
No, they have an interesting pitching philosophy. As far as I know, there really isn't much of one. A lot of the guys in the big league club have gone outside the organization for a lot of improvement, and hopefully that changes. That is my closest big league team to me, and it's like a half-hour drive to get there if I leave at the right time. So, but they jacked up their ticket prices this year, and their attendance is like down 20%. It's insane.
Well, there's the bad product on the field too.
They're like the only team in the majors that's Major League Baseball attendance has spiked, and they're the only team that's down, and they're down a lot. And people are tired of Jerry Reinsdorf. It's not good out here.
Well, everybody came to their games for Tony La Russa.
Yeah, he's gone now.
Yeah. He was the common. That's a.
Jerry Reinsdorf is an interesting cat. I don't know if you guys watched the Last Dance documentary with Michael Jordan and the Bulls, but why they ended that. So, I mean, just the whole thing, you know what I mean? It's like, I would have kept going with that as long as I could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I was him, you know what I mean?
Seriously.
But they're still rebuilding, by the way.
So is Ken Griffey like a photographer now? Like he
is.
I did not know that.
When his son Trey Griffey was at the University of Arizona, he was a wide receiver there.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Griffey was seen most of the time behind the lens of a camera. So
interesting.
I don't know if he's like this big pro like Randy Johnson is, but
yeah,
it's a big interest, and I almost wonder if that was he pushed his son into football, maybe, I don't know, to just try to get that sideline access. But I mean, he's
Yeah.
Ken Griffey Jr. He can get sideline access.
That's true.
Pretty easily.
He can get wherever he wants.
Yeah.
On the sideline.
I mean, he's in the dugout. He's not even in the photo
No.
place.
Yeah.
The tunnel. I bet there's a cameraman there right now. It's like, I can't believe it. He's getting all the good shots.
Yeah. Like, why does he get to be there?
He's got dugout access. Yeah. I didn't think that ball carried that well.
Nah, it just floated.
Oh, God.
Can it get some serious run on that sinker? 16 inches of run.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's probably a four starter when it's all said and done, 4 or 5 guy, sinker, weak contact ground balls.
Yeah.
I got him as an SP5.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's the best possible outcome for this.
Yeah, he just doesn't throw enough strikes with the secondaries. Like he just that's one of the biggest issues, I think.
Could be a setup guy then. Yeah.
Yep, it's possible. Leaving that slider up. I don't like that.
No, not good. Not a good recipe.
And that's kind of what I saw earlier in the year.
Ryan Bliss, that ball stung.
Yeah.
I'm starting to come around on these this isn't an earth-shattering take or anything, but these shorter, smaller hitters that have like the shorter bat path. Because it seems to be like they can create optimum angles due to the size. Like, I'm kind of starting to prefer my 5'9" guys. In moderation. I don't want to the whole team of them, but
in 2018, when I saw him at Troup County, he was so small. Like, he was small. Like, didn't even look like he was somebody that scouts should have been paying attention to. That's how skinny and small he was.
I mean, he's probably 5'8" right now. So I'm guessing in high school he's probably like 5'5".
Yeah, it was like 5'5", 5'6", and just string bean. And he was everywhere. Like he was everywhere. It was I was at the complex in Emerson, which is a PBR complex, and like he was the best athlete at that whole place. And like it was kind of a dud tournament because it seems like all the big names didn't really do well. But he was the most impressive guy that I saw during that week. I might have saw Lawrence Butler there too. I'm not 100% sure for that tournament, I should say.
Yeah.
He's a guy that needs more attention. We touched on him earlier a little bit in this discussion, but he was striking out up north of 30%, like consistently. But this year he's down to under 20%. And it's actually legit tangible changes that have led to making more contact, better swing decisions, more aggressive. He crushes fastball, so I'm sure there's a lot of it. Get an early fastball and hit it kind of thing. Don't let the count build up, but that's the kind of growth you want to see from someone like that. And I'm very excited about Butler. And he looks like a guy that could be an everyday guy, probably right fielder, maybe in that with that club. I don't know. Probably see him early next year is my guess, right? He's a fun player.
He could probably play for them right now.
Sure, he definitely could, but I don't think that's in their business model right now. I wouldn't mind if he skipped Las Vegas, though, because I don't think there's much value playing in that park, in that environment. But I don't know. He's just a fun player. He's one of the kind of the underrated guys. I use underrated in quotations because I think we know, but like he's not a headliner for the game like this. You know what I mean? He's a guy I wanted to see.
I looked. His contact rate's up 10 percentage points from last year, from 66 to 76. So
that's big. That's a huge improvement. And
massive.
Yeah, he's a legit guy. Big frame, huge dude. I hate using the comp because it doesn't really work, but it's like the Cody Bellinger type package where you can play the first base and outfield pretty well, hit for some power, run a little bit. It's a fun prospect. He doesn't get enough hype.
How do you pronounce this dude's last name? I was just going through.
Mizurowski.
Okay.
We had
101 already.
He should eat this.
He's a guy that's made for showcases. This guy right here, he's going to bring it. The slider's nuts. It's like I kind of remember. He's in my section of my daily sheet for Prospects Live, what we do every day, and it's like a pterodactyl. The arms are just so long, and like the wingspan is getting down the mound so low. But he's a guy. We did our end of season top 100 list last year, and I sent it out to a couple guys to source it. And a guy came back to me and says, "You need to put him in the back end of your 100." And I was like, "Why? You know, he was just a draftee, blah blah blah." He goes, "No." He goes, "If he didn't get taken, so there was a team trying to talk him down slot bonus wise in the draft, which is kind of why he was still on the board. But and it wasn't the Brewers, but the Brewers said, fuck it, we're going to take him anyways. And they did, and it kind of worked out so far. So I really like, obviously it's easy to say you really like him when he's out here pumping 101 with a slider like that, but it would have been on him for a while. The stuff is just incredible. He's once again, he's made for these guys.
Yeah.
Made for these showcase events.
I mean, you're 100 when you're running a 12 and 13 inches of arm side run. Like, that's nasty. 102.
And he actually has somewhat of a, I'm not going to say he's like Greg Maddux, but he actually has some command. It's not just, he's not just a thrower. Although in this event, he's going to look like that because he's only eating for an inning. He knows that. Right. But he's, sorry for Colt Keith. He gets to come in, he gets to face him. That's his first at bat.
Yeah, if Colt Keith's worth anything, he'll persevere.
Colt Keith
his whole career right now is going to be based off of this bat right here.
This is another lazy comp because I'm good at those. But Colt Keith is Nolan Gorman with a hit tool for me. He's what you kind of hope Torkelson would turn into, as I think what Keith can be. Like he's the truth.
Yeah, he has plate coverage.
Yeah,
you know what?
That's a big one.
Doesn't have a massive hole in the lower half of the zone.
Yeah.
There he goes.
Look at that. See, I told you.
You guys are ahead of me. You guys are ahead of me.
You guys are ahead of me as well.
He scolded it, Thompson. Scolded the ball.
Hey, that's why he's here. He's back control. No,
he's the only player with a minor league with their minor league helmet on too. He doesn't have the Detroit Tigers batting helmet on, which I find interesting.
That's an interesting observation.
Good catch.
That's what I'm here for. Okay. Oh,
Tigers just trying to save some money.
Yeah,
Rhys was staring deep into his eyes, and he noticed his helmet was different. It's all good.
Hey, they're showing the coaching staff again.
Those are the real stars. That's why we're here to watch.
You know, I on Immaculate Grid the other day, I used Alvin Davis for something. What a good hitter that nobody ever talks about from the 80s.
See, that predates me. I don't really remember much of Alvin Davis.
He had a small window where he was a dynamic multi-category performer.
That fastball is nasty.
It's so good.
I'm behind you guys, but that is just that's incredible.
It should work. That fastball.
Yeah, it might.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a 94-mile-an-hour changeup he just threw to strike him out?
I'm not there yet, but I'm about to see it. Oh my God! What was that?
Dude,
it was like
I bet it was
rising.
I think he might have been gripping it too hard.
Yeah. He gets such a low release too. He's down the mound, and he gives the visual look of it actually right. I know it's not possible, but I mean it really does look like it's rising.
Yeah.
He's. Does that look like a cutter? Does he have a cutter? I didn't know he had one. But
I think he might have been gripping the ball too hard. Sometimes that's a result from overthrowing your changeup. It ends up cutting instead of fading.
It was nasty.
But then again, second pitch to Malloy, boys. That
I got the 0-1 count right now.
Couldn't do a thing on that.
No. Coming in the front door.
Oh my God. Front door breaking ball? Yeah, no chance. Man, he's
I mean, he could throw anything here. Like that's the beauty of this. You know.
Yeah, I think if you just got to.
I think Harold Reynolds just put a Nolan Ryan comp on him.
Jacob DeGrom.
Jacob, yeah, that's better.
He's looking for he's racking his brain for long Polish names, but he can't think of one, so he says Jacob DeGrom.
I'm just so nervous. Like when I watch
Whoa.
Zdrowski, his arm, I'm scared his arm's gonna fall off.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
a, it's not
he's
a,
got one of those. He's got one of those. Are you trying to separate your shoulder when you're
Yes.
throwing?
Yeah,
Ernie's
it's what we like to.
was one of my favorites that did that.
It's what we like to call not teachable delivery.
Yeah. And they called the strikeout pitch to Malloy a cutter, 92. So I guess he is throwing a cutter. Yeah, they're calling that a cutter. So he's throwing a cutter at 93 or 92 to 94 mile per hour cutter. Well, yeah.
Man, do you think he can stick as a starter with all that action going on? It's $1 million question, I know, but there's no reason, and there's no reason not to keep trying him there. But do you think he's a starting pitcher with that arsenal, that motion, that everything?
The Brewers drafted him as a, you
Right.
don't make that draft pick without thinking the kid's a starter. Sure. I think certain teams, I would say that I would be like, oh, no way, this is starting profile. But the Brewers is one of those organizations that if he can throw for enough control, I'm not even going to say command, because that stuff doesn't necessarily need the command.
You don't need it.
If he can throw for enough control, let's say at least about a 65% strike rate on a fastball, 66, 67, then he's a starter. Just with his stuff. A normal guy, you would say that it averaged, 67%, 68% to start, but with a guy with that sort of movement on his fastball,
yeah, you almost need to take a shower when you watch him pitch. It's crazy. It's filthy stuff.
Are you watching him while he's showering?
What?
Did I hear that?
Well, you're breaking up. I can't hear you. Who we got on the mound now? I gotta find that.
I don't know. They got an interview going on right now.
Yeah, my feed. I don't even know who they're talking to. I didn't catch the beginning of that.
I think we're supposed to get Jonathan Cannon.
He pitched last.
He pitched last week.
David
okay, that's
Festa.
my bad.
All right.
That's my
Ooh,
bad.
I'm excited to see Festa.
I know. I've been waiting to see Festa.
I cut my internet cut out at the worst possible time, so that was fun.
I was wondering where you went.
Yeah, I was just tired of you guys and left. No,
Hey, I don't blame you. I get it.
My internet just was like, yeah, you're done for right now. So I had to go reset it and everything.
Festa's another interesting guy. The Twins do really well with these kind of pitchers.
Yeah.
These big, tall, obscure college arms that they kind of
Bailey Ober.
Yep, and they kind of look at that thing, that 88 mile an hour changeup that he just threw to second pitch to at bat. I think
Festa's
incredible.
much better than his surface numbers show.
Yeah.
Yes,
And hopefully he'll show that.
Look at the BABIP and the home run rate. I wrote that in my preview. I said those throw the numbers way up, but I think he could start. He's a guy I'm excited to see, but obviously they have a lot of arms in front of him. He's not going to happen this year. He's not a 40-man guy till end of next year, so they got some time with him. But look at the deception too. This will be a good deal.
It all comes down to command. It really does. It just all comes down to command for him.
That behind the catcher view of him is awesome because you can see the deception. How you can't see the ball until it's there.
Hold on, my dog.
But yeah, you're right, Chris.
I'll be right back.
Yeah,
it's two straight balls in the air for Justin Crawford.
What is this?
Spencer Jones out there in center field making the catch. 6'7" center fielder.
Yep. I clocked him in game this year. He had a triple at 11-0-0 on a trip, like home to.
I saw that tweet. And I was trying to look it up, and it's hard to find home to third times, but
yeah, it was just it was right after the Corbin Carroll one where he was 10-8 or something like that. I don't remember exactly. And then I was like, oh, I just got a 6'7" guy at 11-0, nuts.
Yeah, that's obviously the story with him is if he can just make any contact whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Victor Scott, He's going to stay. Don't go to second. Stay at first because I want to see him steal second base.
Yes, they should let him run first pitch.
He's going to. There's no asking. He's going to take
52 stolen bases already.
Yeah, yeah. There's no asking. He's going to take it. He's a guy I've been pleasantly surprised with. I was told in our preseason, because I hadn't seen him play. I know we went to West Virginia, and I was told when I was compiling the Cardinals preseason top 30 list that he sucks. Was the quote I was told from somebody that would know. And I said, okay, I'll keep that in mind. I didn't include him. I did include him. I included him like 28th or something, maybe 29th. And then he's got the data on him this year is actually surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Am I crazy to say maybe 12 to 15 home runs with that playable speed like that? I think that, and a really good glove and center. I think he's trending upwards as an everyday guy. Could be like a roll 50 by the end of the season. Not quite there for me yet, but I think he could be.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
He's a great athlete. Augustus got a lot of arm side run on that changeup.
Yeah.
Or arm side fade, I should say.
Yeah. 15 inches.
Yeah, I don't even know the number, but just watching it,
Yeah.
I know the camera angle is slightly offset, but you can still see it. Here's Jackson Merrill, the talk of the town in Arizona the whole time we were out there.
Yeah.
Him and Jordan Walker, right? Everyone couldn't stop talking about either one of them too, how they were so great. Have you seen Merrill, Rhys? What do you think?
I saw Merrill last year. I was kind of like, I saw him and James Wood actually right before James Wood got traded. So it's an interesting juxtaposition seeing those two go back to back in the lineup. Merrill, I definitely like the hit tool. I think you were the one that was talking to me and someone else about it. You're not sold on him as like a fantasy star.
Yeah,
like a really good major leaguer.
Yes, that's kind of what I was going to say too. I don't know if the counting stats for fantasy are going to be there in what you're looking for, but I think he might be like a bona fide the Padres can obviously they have other players. Padres are talented, but he could play shortstop and just leave him alone. You know what I mean? But the fantasy numbers aren't going to be great.
Yeah,
it's kind of the lean I have on him, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong multiple times before, and I will be again. So
he has a very pretty swing though.
It is.
At least in batting practice, I saw him in the fall league last year.
Victor Scott stole 2 bags, and they're worried about him tagging up on that, so they had to get the ball real quick. But I'm just excited. The Cardinals have a lot of these guys that are made for these showcase events. Last year they had Walker and Wynn out here. Henson, Scott are made for showcase event kind of tools guys. A lot of those guys haven't worked out for them when they drafted. Patrick Romero was a guy they cut him recently. John Torres was cut. They cut him from the Guardians, I should say. Some other Trey Fletcher got released by them this year. They're not doing too well with the tools guys, so it's good to see somebody maybe sticking. It's a it's a hard gamble, but hopefully they find somebody. Speaking of tools, Churio at the plate.
Yep.
The highest upside of any prospect in the minors. Am I wrong on that?
Probably yes. Unfortunately, these sliders that he's facing are not optimal for a 19-year-old.
Well,
I mean upside though.
You don't think it's Wood? You don't think Wood has the highest upside?
No, I said Churio, and I kind of threw out
no.
there. Is he the highest upside of any prospect in the minors?
Yeah, I was wondering. I think he's him and Wood are the two guys that I think would be out there. So Wood could probably hit 40 home runs. That's it is 1 percentile or 99 percentile outcome, but I don't know.
Yeah,
sure. No, we're not talking that. I'm talking upside. So I mean, we're talking shoot for the moon, but
right. Well, I think it's worth noting that he's in the Southern League at 19, facing. Balls are doing weird stuff with those tacky balls, and Chris Blessing's seen it, I guess, in person. I've not. I don't have any AA close to me, unfortunately. But
we were talking about that right before you jumped on, actually, and he brought up the same exact thing. He said had a hard time picking up spin, and then when you amplify it by the pre-tack balls, it's
and he struggled with changeups too, which I feel like the changeups are running a little more with the tacky ball, from what I've seen.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But that's gone after this weekend, so we'll see what second half Churio does, and all the AA hitters for that. that matter.
Camanero's in AA too. Something.
Yep.
Yeah, I have him. Well, I've already seen Caminero this year, but I'll be able to see Caminero again in a couple of weeks, or not a couple of weeks, like 3 weeks.
Yeah. He was fun. I thought he was going to get moved up before. They were here mid-May in Greenville, and I was highly concerned he was going to get called up before that. He stuck around, so I got like 3 games of him, which was great.
Good. He seems like obviously I don't have any inside information, but he seems like a prime AFL guy this year, Caminero.
Good too.
Seems like that's this next step to take. You know what I mean for him.
It's the Rays. The Rays don't tend to send guys
true.
to spend a whole year playing. So
Yeah, that's true.
Don't want to hope for injury there, but that's
Oh
probably
no, never.
the way we see him.
Right.
That's the unfortunate thing is the fall league used to be a lot better. Well, especially like the pitching has been a lot better.
The pitching's terrible.
We were mentioning before you came on, Clay. We were mentioning like last year's Fall Stars was maybe the best pitching that we'll get to see in a long time. Like,
yeah.
It just happened that way.
Here's the guy I've been kind of wanting to see, Swellenbach, the former shortstop for University of Nebraska.
Yeah.
Pitching only for the Braves.
Yeah, I went.
He's a unicorn. He's a unicorn.
I know.
I
went to Augusta to see him, and it rained out, so I didn't see him live. Augusta's like a 2-hour drive, so that was fun.
Oh shit!
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
This shows my ignorance, but that's the same Augusta as like the Masters, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
But the stadium's not in Georgia; it's in South Carolina.
Right. It's on the other side, right?
Yeah. Right by the river, kind of.
Yeah.
Nick York got into that one.
He did. A fun fact about the old stadium in Augusta: it got held up like 2 or 3 times at the box office during games.
Really?
Yeah.
It was in a rough area, wasn't it?
Very rough area.
I thought York got that one.
Dude, I hate York's new stance though. Like his pre-pitch stance. I hate how the hands, everything. It's worked, but it looks funky.
Yeah. He rebounded a little bit last year, and he was fine in the AFL. He looked okay. I mean, that's obviously an offensive environment, so it is what it is. But he had a really bad health year, I think, last year. He tried to play through it, and but he looked okay in the AFL.
Yeah, he was in Greenville all year. He had like 4 different injuries. He had I think he had like a sickness that kept him out like 2 weeks at one point. Like, just couldn't stay consistently on the field. Spencer Jones against Schwellenbach. This is fun.
Oh.
Man,
this
sounds good.
I wasn't really impressed with Spencer Jones. I sat on him for 3 or 4 games this year.
I think the idea of him is better than what he is right now.
Yeah. When you had stepped away, I don't know if you saw my tweet, Chris Blessing, but I clocked him at a triple at 11-0-0. Obnoxious. Like it's like a gazelle when he's such long legs. But yeah, there's a lot of swing and miss. Like you saw it too. Like he just can get eaten up with the spin. Like even some fastballs. Like I said, the idea of him being like him and Emmanuel Rodriguez, like both. Like, and I like Emmanuel Rodriguez a bit better than Spencer Jones at this point.
Same.
Rodriguez was a guy.
I'm not a big Emmanuel Rodriguez fan either, but like to me that makes more sense than the idea of Spencer Jones being.
Yeah.
I think that in 6 years from now, there's going to be people in our community that are still like have their fingers crossed that Spencer Jones is about to figure it out.
Probably.
Well, he's
going to be the Franchi Cordero of 2028.
Ooh.
He's going to keep getting chances because he's massive and he's got raw tools up there. But Rodriguez was a guy I reached out to Blessing like way earlier in the season because I saw I was watching him and I was like, I don't see it. Like I just didn't. And then I read something that Chris wrote and I was like, that's exactly what I had in my head. But like he said it a million times better. And I think I asked you about it, Chris. Like, how did you come to that conclusion? Because I didn't know. Like, I don't know. This was a while ago. Not to rehash that, but like, your take was exactly right. He was almost like scared to strike out, not.
Yep.
And it wasn't because of like it wasn't the approach; it was like a fear.
A contact of mine that may have been player development with an organization that he may play for said that they could be said he was scared to swing, and like I watched him, and that's what it was like he's scared to swing and miss because I mean the hit when he hits the ball, he hits 1,000 miles per hour it seems, and but he also swings and misses an awful lot, and he has a good enough eye that he's a guy that maybe trends up because if the automated strike zone comes in more than just the challenge system or something like that.
That could make a lot of sense because he's got a better eye than a lot of he gets rung up a lot on pitches that aren't strikes. I will say that he gets screwed a lot on.
Yeah,
but being too passive at that
umpire
level,
bias.
You might be better than the umpires at that level. And honestly,
seriously,
and I saw a lot of that with Perdomo for the Diamondbacks when he was in Kane County too. He would get rung up on pitches off the plate. Being a switch hitter, the umpires got to stand in the slot. You got a lot of right-handers up, and then all of a sudden you got a lefty hitter up. You got to move to a different spot. You kind of lose the umpire. You would lose the feel for the corner because you're not consistently calling it, and that's what happens to a lot of lefties because you've got a righty, umpires in the same spot, same view. Then now he has to move, and you lose your feel for where the corner's at, and the corner's huge. And you see it all the time in a big league game. Lefties get screwed on pitches off the plate all the time.
Yep.
And he was a guy like that, and I'm surprised. He's an all-star, which I never saw that coming. I saw him probably 30 games, no joke, in Kane County. And he was every day. And I saw good bat to ball and kind of clumsy player, like kind of didn't have real good body control, would always stumble in out of the box and tripping over himself running the bases, but like good speed, good hands, but I didn't see all-star, but so congrats to him for that. But I didn't see that.
One of my scouting contacts, a former media guy, had Diamondback coverage for several years, and that was always the prospect that he talked about. And I honestly kept him on my. Like, I wasn't that impressed either. I was with you, Matt. But given that contact and how right he had been for several guys throughout. Talking to him, he just kept on saying, "There's just something not unlocked. He has a better hit tool than he's showing. He's gonna hit for some impact. It's just gonna take a while." And
he used to be a pretty slap hitter from the left side. From the left side, he was a pure slap hitter, just kind of put the ball on the ground and run. Like, that was the game, and he's not that player anymore. He's changed a lot. Your contact was correct. Power did come.
He was. I'm just glad I never buried him.
Yeah. Pretty solid inning from Schwellenbach. That was
it was efficient.
Yep. Changeup looked good.
Hopefully he comes to Rome because Rome's terrible. I need something good to look at.
Rome's been in town.
Nacho.
Yeah,
you got Nacho Alvarez.
I saw. Yeah, Rome's in town this week, and Nacho has been tearing it. I've been to 3 games, and Nacho has been a triple side of the cycle twice in those 3 games.
I don't know if
Mammoth
it's
home
work,
run last night,
but he's a fun player. Here's a guy, Sem Roberse. I have a mechanic, strictly mechanic. Well, actually, kind of stylistically too, because it's fastball slider. I have a count for him on size and delivery. And let me know what you think. But he's a dead ringer for Jack Flaherty mechanically. Dead ringer. Watch when he pitches next. You guys are probably ahead of me, but I see Jack Flaherty when he pitches like
he's giving up hits. So it looks
that
like
that too. Yeah. Well, he's from the stretch now, so I can't. But the arm action, especially, is what reminds you of it. More so from the windup, but he's probably not going to see the windup again the rest of the inning. So, well, maybe he will. Maybe he'll give up a dong. Who knows?
I hate when they do split screen interviews.
Yeah, we don't need to see. We don't need to see the person.
I don't mind hearing because I'm sure the player interviews better than the announcing. No offense to Jonathan Mayo, really good guy. But it's what it is. I want to hear the interview, but I don't need to see his face.
And then they do the split screen with 1/3 of the screen as dead space. Anyways, it's just
right.
Yeah,
wakes.
Like,
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's a good change up. I always like players from unique backgrounds. He's from the Netherlands,
Yeah.
Roberse. Grow the game.
Yeah.
Wonder if his family back at home has peacock.
Well, you don't know if it's the peacock overseas. It could be.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know.
It could be whatever, right?
How many players are in the majors from the Netherlands, if any?
Oh, I don't even know.
I would bet 0.
Well, there was a pitcher several years ago with the Marlins, and then wasn't Bert Blyleven from there?
Yeah.
Yes. He's
There
like
you
the
go.
best Dutch pitcher ever. Yeah. Yep.
Rick Vandenhoeken. whatever
There you go.
it is.
Vandenhurst.
That's a name.
Vandenhurst. Yes, I did it.
That's an
Yep. You're
That's
right.
going to help some people in their immaculate grid here soon.
Yep.
Yes, I'm helping people.
BJ
If
Murray.
they ever say Marlins and then Dutch-born player, now they got it. Boom.
Get the flag up there. Like, what the hell? BJ Murray was probably the guy I knew least about entering this game. I don't know about everybody else, but
Same. When I heard he was going, I started like digging a little more. I'm like, I need to look into this
I
profile a little more.
yeah, utility
Yeah.
infielder probably that can't play shortstop is the way I see it. Some pull side power, good on base skills. That's probably useful bench bat. Probably, maybe.
Good friends with
Not
Pete
the-
Crow Armstrong. No, I don't know that.
Hey, it's a good.
I
That's a
figured
good
they
thing
were
to do.
Well, Pete Crow needs a traveling companion, so let's. Who's his
Right.
favorite player on the team? Let's have him come.
Yeah. Well,
And
that
we
was
got a pitching change.
that was a quick change.
Quick hook. for the
Nine-
Blue Jays
9
prospect.
pitches for the Dutchman. Huh?
I think that's. Oh, they're bringing in the heat here. Zuleta.
Oh, yeah.
The Blue Jays get to split an inning with their two guys.
Right
Yeah.
here. Make it work, however. You only get the
This
60.
guy had the worst luck of anyone ever. When he had Tommy John surgery in his first appearance back during his rehab, he blew out his knee, ACL. That's and then the COVID pandemic. So he lost like pretty much 2.5, 3 years.
Is the stuff still as crisp as it was last year? I haven't had a chance to see or watch
No.
any of him.
The stuff's kind of backed up a little bit. He's been getting beat up in AAA a lot as a strictly reliever now.
Because last year his stuff was like, it looked like, you're like, oh, this looks like front of the rotation sort of stuff right here. And then it was like, okay, now he's a pure reliever. That's
He's
tough.
got 33 walks in 41 innings. Not to go all stat line, but that tells you the story. 1.7 whip as a reliever. That's not what you want.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
But yeah,
Just
full-time
taking
reliever
over.
now.
No.
I remember Hoof was a big fan for this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because as a starter, he was a really fun profile, but he just missed too much time. And I think he had to. Because I want to say he's on the 40-man already. I think because he's on that kind of timeline.
Yeah. I think
So
he
I
was
think-
at it this offseason.
Yeah, so they didn't have it. I mean, they kind of have to. And then I'm sure he probably would have been up already, but he's been not great this year.
If you're watching at home, Harold Reynolds was giving some counseling to Jackson Holiday
I saw.
on defense.
Perfect.
He's like, that's not how Felix Fermin made that play for me when I was the second baseman, and all that good stuff. You need to have a better feed.
Jackson
I know you were
Holiday,
drafted
really
number.
interested.
He looked respectful. That's about the best
Yeah.
you can ask for that situation.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if Harold pulled the whole card. I used to play in the big leagues to him, and he's like, "Well, my dad was actually good in the big leagues."
Yeah, and my uncle runs a Power 5 program, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
that he inherited from my grandpa. So yeah, I don't need to talk to you. And my younger brother's better than me, so allegedly.
Here's rushing. I love rushing. So I caught last year. I caught him hitting 2 home runs in one game. That was great. This dude just hits tanks. Like it's just mammoth raw power.
Very
I was a
solid.
little bit worried about him because he had a concussion. He missed some time with concussion earlier this month or last month. So, but he seems like he's okay. He's been catching since then. So, I'd imagine the Dodgers know infinitely more about that situation than anyone else. So if they're catching him, he must be good, right?
Yeah.
So
Now,
Louisville.
is he a bigger prospect at this time than Cartaya?
I would.
For
I
fantasy,
mean, in
I'd say
fantasy,
yeah.
yeah.
It is,
Fantasy,
yeah.
absolutely. But I saw Cartaya at Instructs way back in the first time I went to AFL, and that was a show. It's Instructs, so take it for what it's worth. But he's a catcher. I think he bounced a triple off the right center field wall. Just watching him run was impressive. So I always have that burned in my mind. But Cartaya's
Yeah,
gone backwards a little bit with the swing. But
You checked him out with Panini, right?
yep, and Bobby Witt was in that game for the Royals,
Nice.
obviously.
Yeah, I regret it not going with you guys.
That was the exact day when the Eric Pena hype train took off.
That's what I was going to ask. Was that the Eric Pena video day? Because that took off like crazy.
Ooh.
I think I'm guilty of it too because he looked great, and I think I want to say there's 4 or 5 of us prospect people that all posted the same video at the same time on Twitter from slightly different angles because we were all standing next to each other. I think, which sounds incredibly foolish, but that's probably what happened. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I've seen him a good bit in Columbia this year. It's sad to see how far it's gone down.
The swing, he was all synced up. I mean, obviously you could
Yeah.
see where he could have issues because it was a long swing at the time, but he had the long arms, long legs. But you got to hold a couple balls. It looked nice, and
Yeah.
I could see why he could go bad. There's so many things. But that was a lesson I learned a little bit about myself. Maybe you shouldn't pump these young kids up so much.
Mm-hmm.
Hand up. I'll take that
Yeah,
one.
it's hard not to.
It's lessons. I did that a lot with Appy League prospects. I mean, I can't tell you who actually made it of the guys that I hyped.
Right.
I was right about a 30 round pitcher. I really liked it. A guy named Jacob Lugo, who was actually Seth Lugo a few years later.
Nice.
And I was like, oh wow, I got him. Yes. But all the other guys that I hyped up was not. They ended up not being good.
Nasim Nunez.
You were talking about funky swings and not being synced up. Matt and I were chatting the other night about Austin Charles and his.
Yes, he fits that mold to a T, don't he?
Yeah. So I've seen him 5 times now, and it's just like,
oh wow, Nasim,
nice.
hit it down the line.
Can
he go for 3?
He's gonna go.
Poorly played.
You guys are way ahead of
me. Come on, man. So I can't believe after scouting Nunez as an amateur, him being in this game is kind of a win because I didn't necessarily think that the bat would ever cover get him to a showcase.
I still don't think
he was
right.
Phenomenal shortstop, very fast, but he really couldn't hit.
Yeah,
and was a question mark why the Marlins took him. I think they took him in the comp round.
He was a high pick.
Yeah,
they haven't drafted very. I mean, they're not going to bag on him, but their last couple drafts have been as bad gets.
No, you can bag on him. It's okay. Anytime you take a Vanderbilt hitter high in the draft, I mean, you deserve to be bagged.
They're going to do it again too.
They're not afraid to draft guys.
Are they going to take Jacob
Bradfield.
Wilson?
They're going to take Bradfield. I think that's their dude.
Oh.
Well, speaking of Bradfield, Justin Crawford's at the plate. So,
dude has hit the ball in the air 2 times today.
Yeah.
He's going to go upper tank right now.
Man,
just kidding. No, that ain't happening.
Hey.
I wonder what the boys were saying when he took his batting practice today. They're like, man, I'm waiting to see Justin Crawford's BP.
Who would hit more home runs at a BP, Nasim Nunez or Justin Crawford?
Crawford.
I think so too.
I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
He at least hits the ball hard.
Has some strength. He just has a bad swing.
Yeah, Crawford's 90th percentile EV is 103.5. It's pretty close to MLB average, actually. Just pounds it into the ground.
Yeah. He knows his game, I guess, right? But I mean, back to him though. If he's going to show power, he's got to rework everything because it's such a it's such a bottom hand. I just don't see it working. It's not my type of player either. I don't get too excited about those kind of guys. I don't know if he's got enough power to keep hitters on. Or pitchers
they have a scouting report up. 5-tool potential, excellent contact skills, uses speed to his advantage.
That 5-tool potential, that's definitely our boy in the dugout.
That's like a Twitter. That's a Twitter quality scouting report right there.
5-tool potential, but what's the 5 tools? Because one of them is not power. We know that.
Nope.
Because I know we're all now behind paywalls of some sort. Like that's the sort of thing that we just fling on Twitter to hope somebody subscribes to us, right?
He's fast. He can get one ball hard.
He can run.
Uses speed to his advantage. I mean, that's a great
plays like that. The only thing that scouting report didn't have is plays like that.
Oh, we got a good review there.
Oh my goodness!
Made the umpire look good for once.
Barely. Wow. It's not a striking.
Were you at Matt? Were you at and maybe Chris too? Were you at the AFL when Heliot Ramos argued with the ABS
with
system?
the ABS system? He didn't know.
Was that the Wisenhunt night?
No, this was 2019.
Yeah, it was 2019. You didn't. You didn't go then. So
I didn't go in 20. I missed a year.
Sorry,
I went to 22. And
I don't know why my brain. You said Helio Ramos. My brain went to Luis Matos for some reason. I have no clue why. But no, I was not there.
No, that was funny because he legit didn't know who to complain to. Like he looked at the umpire, and the umpire pointed up, like, not me.
Has there been a?
That was like the bad ABS. That was really bad ABS at that point.
Zuleta's got a good slider, but if he can't throw that fastball, you're seeing the struggles this year. He's getting lit up by low minors hitters. He's a AAA reliever. So,
Nasim Nunez is a low minor hitter.
He's in high A, ain't he?
High A, I think so.
Oh wow, he's still only in high A. Wow.
How old is he?
Man. He was either the 2018 or 2019 draft because I scouted him for somebody.
Yeah, he was 2019, 46 overall. He's 22 and about to turn 23, and he is actually in AA now.
Yeah, 2019 was a fun year in Georgia.
Those Marlins love guys who can't hit in those comp rounds. Joe Mack.
They do.
Oh my goodness.
2018, they took Will Banfield in like the second round.
Oh my goodness.
He was in that same showcase I was talking about Ryan Bliss, like where Bliss was the guy, like one of the guys I was supposed to cover who was Banfield. The guy like swung and missed on 75 mile per hour slot fastballs, and I'm like, this is a dude, like, and then he gets drafted and gets a few $1 million for his signing bonus.
Hey, they can't draft in the first round either, but I don't want to say anything about that. The last couple first round picks.
Jacob Berry was a good first round pick if you were the Marlins who don't know how to pick first round picks, right?
So he had the best month. He's on my section for the Daily Sheet. He had his best month of his professional career in June of this year, and it was like 270, like 340, 460. Like not good enough numbers for a corner infielder, but like it was the best month of his pro career.
Like, I argued last year internally. He ended up being on HQ's top 100 prospect list. It was the one pick on there that I was like, come on, guys, let's try to switch that. But there was too many people that had seen him at LSU. But a lot of that highlight video was against Sunday starters or weekday starters.
Sure, big difference, right?
So who is this year's Jacob Berry? And it can't be Jacob Wilson. Not Jacob Wilson.
Like, were you talking about landmine in the first round?
Yes, I think that's what I'm going for.
Braden Taylor, maybe? Like, if you're not, he might be. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Same archetype player, corner only. Although I'm actually convinced he can. I'm actually convinced he can actually hit. So that might be a little bit tough.
Yeah, I like Taylor. I'm just not in on Jacob Wilson at all. I feel like that's an obvious choice. So I don't know.
Jacob Gonzalez, maybe? Like, I'm not convinced he can hit. It's a weird setup.
I can't answer this question until the end of first round.
No,
So
yeah,
I'm on a gag order.
You're excused.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like. Well, I was going to say, to be contrarian a little bit, I'll say Kyle Teal because I don't really love college catchers.
Yeah, I'm kind of
atmosphere a little bit. But at the same time, I still think the answer is Bradfield because I want no part of him.
No.
I don't like that. I don't like that type. I just don't. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't care. I'm not drafting the team, so I have no.
I'll say it. I guess I can. Kyle Teal.
Oh.
You know, I think the hype there. Not for this question, but I'm just going to say when you're the only catcher that's remotely interesting, I think that's always a good choice in something like this. In a who's going to be the biggest flop of the first round. Like,
right.
And I don't think he is. He's not my choice, but being that he's a catcher and he is the only catcher.
He's kind of pushed up because it's scarce.
We're going to see super overdrafts of catchers in the second, third, fourth round that have no business being second, third, fourth round picks and getting that sort of money because it's so.
It's a good point. So scarce.
Yeah.
Who is even the second best college catcher in this draft? Like, I haven't even dug into that.
I had Carlos Collazo on my podcast a few weeks ago, and he didn't even name anybody. Like he said it was like that. Like it was such.
There's two high school kids that Rafi.
There's the Rafi kid and
Blake Mitchell. I really like Blake Mitchell.
But the collegiate catcher is just
on our prospects live rank, it's all the way down to number 80 is a Michael Caracal from Davidson. I don't even know anything about him. I'm just reading his name, but that's how far down they are in the range.
Wow.
That's a good call out.
Davidson. That's all I know about that. So, but yeah, that college catching cast is just tough, man.
After several years of really good guys too. Like we've been spoiled with catchers.
We've been talking about Dalton Rushing today. I mean, obviously, he's one of the bigger ones from last year's draft.
Yeah.
More successful ones. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Parada hasn't been great.
No, he hasn't. That's kind of shocked me, too. I thought he'd be showing more power than he has been.
Susak hasn't been great either. Like, he hasn't been, lighting the world on fire.
He hasn't.
To be fair, he's in the A's organization. So
I was going to make a comment, but I didn't. But, yeah.
They had two guys in this game, so
right.
Three guys.
One of them was at the plate. One's at the plate right now.
Guys. Yeah, two guys. I got very happy for a second.
Here's Butler.
I'm trying to get a Noah Schultz scouting report from a contact. Sorry, I was in.
No, you're good.
So good.
He went to high school about 25 minutes from me.
Okay.
And I was all set to go see him a bunch of times, and then he had mono and didn't pitch all year.
Oh, jeez.
So, well, I don't know if that's public. Oops, but he had mono, missed his entire senior year.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't pitch if I had a Vanderbilt scholarship and knew I was going to get drafted in the first round. And why are you rushing it? So
that's matter. True. No point in coming back.
Yeah. And also, he had the kissing disease, so I mean that's
it's a bad look, right?
It's a bad look.
Might as well be the Jets quarterback.
Oh.
Although I transition there, I do wish we could trade draft picks like they do in the NFL. I think it'd make the MLB draft so more exciting.
Yeah.
I still don't know if it'd be exciting because it just takes so much time.
Well, it would. The only reason is because you could trade the 20th pick for a reliever that can help you now. You know what I mean? I think that'd be kind of cool in a sense, but I don't know. But then you have teams like the Angels who don't want to pay any minor leaguers. They just trade all their picks.
Yep.
So
there hasn't been a comp pick traded this year, has there?
Not yet.
Last year we had
was there any? Yeah.
Like the Braves traded Drew Waters to get the pick for J.R. Ritchie. Did work out. He was looking good, but
that was looking like a good trade until J.R. Ritchie's arm exploded. So
he looks great. He was suffering. He looks like I like his stuff better than the other two high school guys they took high. Murphy and what's the other one? Cole
They
Phillips.
believe in Murphy's
Cole
athletic
Phillips.
ability. You know, they're very high on his athleticism, really kind of playing up that package.
Yeah.
But I tend to agree with you. Like Richie was the dude of the group.
I mean, Murphy's fastball, I saw him last week. He was 91, 92. I mean, it's like decent ride, but it's just like no velo. Decent arm side run, but it's like, I feel like you're right. The athleticism, hopefully the velo ticks up a little bit there, but he's got some decent secondaries. Yeah, I mean, Richie, I think he could end up being a better starter long term.
He's got the nastiest stuff for sure. From at least video looks, I haven't seen anything live.
I'll be honest, I was surprised. Like I didn't have Richie this year. I was surprised. You know, that was kind of the buzz coming out of spring.
Yeah,
they might push him high. Yeah,
push him higher. So
yeah,
well, that's a good look for you, man. Murphy's a good look for you. Like,
yeah.
I get Nacho Alvarez, which is the same thing every time. Like it's consistent.
Yeah, you don't need to scout him too much because you kind of not that you should have a biased opinion like I do, I guess. But like he's a utility infielder that can't play shortstop. End of book.
Yeah.
Period.
That's fair. Yeah, Rome's not very good, like at all. It's and they absolutely obliterated Wickleman Gonzalez on Wednesday night, which I've got mixed opinions
got some
about.
fun arms down there.
Yeah, dude, Greenville's got some killer arms, and Perales could be there soon.
They hurt Gonzalez the other. I guess it might have been opening night this year.
Yeah,
in Rome. Dominated him.
They've got some kind of report out on him because he had 7 earned on Wednesday night.
Oh wow!
The one good thing about the Rome team, it has a lot of very cagey players, and they might be maxed out at their level, but they tend to, if a guy has something, they're going to pick it up, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, David McCabe's interesting to an extent. Like, he's fine. Quintero's tiny. Like, I didn't realize how small he was, so I saw him in person this week.
Oh, really?
He's like
Keyshawn Ogans isn't bad. I mean, he's a nice utility player, 20th round pick out of California last year.
Yeah. Hey, have you seen Tyler Owens, the pitcher for Rome?
No, I have not.
I saw him last night, and I didn't expect anything out of him. He's like 5'10", like kind of bulky. Dude was grooving 98 fastballs at the top of the zone. He had a 90-mile-an-hour slider. A curve was at like 84. He was nasty, and it threw me off guard because like I never really paid attention to him. And the numbers aren't great, but I was like, dang, this guy's actually semi-interesting. Like, he looks like a reliever, but he was like, okay, like
you know, when you go to games and like you're not there for the home team most of the time, I tend to run into the same like 2 or 3 pitchers every time. And he's not. I have not run into him. I'm looking through my sheet right now. I haven't run into him at all.
That was Jackson Goddard for me in King County. I probably saw him pitch like 17 times. Levi Kelly too. They both just got releases like last couple.
Chris Lee was a big guy for me. I've seen so many Chris Lee starts over the years. Former Dodger first rounder. Born in England.
I knew it. I was going to say something like that. I knew it was something. Clegg, have you saw? Is that Kilpatrick for the Braves? Anything?
He looks
kind of fun, right? Big dude. Or am I wrong on the side?
Got some decent speed. I mean, I think he stole a couple bags last night when he got on. I mean, he's just like I don't know. It's an interesting leadoff mold. Like they lead him off, which is odd. I mean, I don't know. There's just not a high OBP there. He's a sub 700 OPS. Like
he just looks. I don't know. Blessing, you've seen him too, obviously, right? That's Rome, right? Or is he?
Yeah, he's Rome.
Yeah, I could have asked either one of you. My bad, but no, it's I don't know. He just popped.
My thing is, I don't think Kilpatrick has enough hit tool.
No.
That's my. And that was kind of the observation. He was a junior college guy out of Florida, and that was kind of the draft news about him. But he looks like a dude aesthetically, and
when
gets on base and like I saw him hit 2 home runs in a game which was kind of amazing because his
Really?
swing's very linear, and it was surprising to see that. But a speedy guy, I don't know if he really could stick in center field. I've never really liked the routes or anything like that. I've seen him about 10 times this year, so now it's like kind of gotten.
Pretty sure he's the Georgia kid that went to JUCO and they scooped him back up.
Yeah,
So they must have had something on him.
Yeah. Oh God, what high school did he go to? It's gonna bother me.
Nasty got a nasty breaking ball, but the command is kind of sketch.
I wasn't right that inning.
Man, I can't think of what high school he went to. But anyway, yeah. On that team this year, it's basically Nacho, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Drake
But
Baldwin's interesting. Drake Baldwin, the catcher's kind of interesting, but I don't know. I don't think he hits enough.
Yeah, that's the biggest concern. There's some decent pop there when he hits, but
yeah, I mean, guy hits it on the screws a lot.
Yeah.
When he Jacob Mizorowski on MLB Pipeline, 10 of his 11 fastballs are up over 100 miles an hour when he pitched his inning. Not surprising, but it's just cool. It's still cool to see that, even though 100 is kind of common now. I still geek out when I see it.
Yeah, I mean, you average
102.4 was his hardest.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That play.
Hey, Lawrence Butler has the 2 hardest hit fair.
There you go, making me sound smart because I was hyping him up earlier. So there we go.
111, 107.5. Yeah, that last ground out was 111. Both of them were on the ground. Both of his hard contacts were on the ground. This is the kind of stuff that Harold Reynolds would never dive into.
He doesn't even know it exists, and this is his job to cover baseball.
He just discovered OPS last year.
Advanced analytics, OPS.
I like this guy. He had 102 RBI. But who we got on the mound now?
I'm tired of all these guys walking to get on base. I want them to hit the ball.
That's some fun action. We had a lot of fun action in play.
You know what would be cool? A pitch clock. Victor Scott interview. He's we kind of talked about it earlier, but he's an exciting guy for that team. Beater, there we go. Clayton Beater. I wanted to see him. One of the upper minors arms in the game. Not very many of them.
From the Yankees organization via the Dodgers.
Traded for?
Gallo?
Joey Gallo.
Joey
Straight
Gallo.
up.
Yep. The most famous Yankee of all time. Infamous, I guess. I like Beater. I want to see the slider. See how that plays.
Yeah, Brent Hershey, who's my editor from Baseball HQ, who's at the game right now.
Nice.
Got to go fly out there. He's seen Beater a few times, and unfortunately, it's always been a command issue really kind of almost control issue. But at least he's getting length in games. That was also something that kind of plagued him early on.
I was going to say he was. Say what?
The Dodgers held him back significantly, and then he comes to New York, and they're just letting him go 7 innings. What?
So this was
everybody back though, which is interesting.
Yep.
I just saw Maddox Bruns for the first time in his professional career threw over 70 pitches in a game this week.
Wow.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's because he's been he's second year in full season ball. He was in the Cal League all last year. I get taking it easy, but I think sometimes it's a little bit too extreme. Obviously, it works for them. They churn out pitchers like nobody almost. But
that's true.
But you can't really find out who a pitcher is until he goes through a lineup, right? You got to use everything, and you got to use the arsenal, and got to go through some adversity, I guess. But maybe they don't care about that. I don't know. Maybe that's overrated to them. I don't know.
Especially out here at their low or single A affiliate now. They really like I mean Jared Karros, he only goes like 3-4 innings, and that's kind of like rare. Who is it? Ronan Kopp only goes like 2 innings, 3 innings tops, but he's a reliever.
Yeah,
he's a pure reliever, I think, going forward.
Yeah,
it seems like they got hit double A. As soon as they hit double A, they're allowed to go
pitch.
4 or 5 innings. Yeah, right there. Yeah. The book's out on Churio, though. Just throw something that bends below the zone.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a book. It's just that the kids, it's an advanced thing. Like he hasn't.
True.
Pitch recognition is not there. That's how dominant and he was last year. That like got him the double A this year, but like he doesn't have a game plan and he's not seeing spin. It could turn around literally next week. Like it could be
right.
easy. Not just because the tax going away, but like it literally could happen next week.
Yeah.
This is one of the guys I've been dying to see. Yanquiel Fernandez. I just want to see him hit something full side about 800 feet.
I love
They're
him.
taking Beater out.
He was awesome last year.
They're bringing in Guerrero from the Red Sox.
I got to see some of.
Man, I'm so tired of all this Harold Reynolds stuff. Like, he's not a peacock announcer. Who cares?
Maybe he'll give somebody a hug and get fired. But you did ESPN.
Yanquiel had some of like the craziest BP I think I've seen out here. Like when he was out here, what was it, last year? Yeah, he was crazy. Like the ball was just. I went to Rancho Cucamonga and they let me go catch his BP, and it was like 400 foot, 400 like 40 foot, 450 foot bombs just all over the field. And I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be so good.
Yeah, he's got a ton of raw power.
And the Rockies are like not bad at developing prospects anymore. They're not like stagnating anymore. It's quite interesting.
I really am excited for Fernandez. I don't know if it works. There's a lot of swing and miss there, like a lot.
Yeah,
but
a lot of aggression. I consider him like the opposite. Like him and Emmanuel Rodriguez are like very similar and very different at the same time. One's super patient,
the other
and can't make contact, and one's super aggressive.
Yep.
But they hit the ball at the same velocity. Like it's like if they smash that player together, Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's like I know we don't like to play this game, but like if 100% of it maxes out for Fernandez, if it all works out, like it's like ridiculous stuff, right? Like it's like Jordan Alvarez type bat. If it all works, it's not going to, but like if it all comes together, like that's.
There's a lot of baby Jordan comps on Twitter, which is interesting.
Is it really on him?
Yeah, on Fernandez. A lot of people call him baby Jordan.
Well,
yeah,
I didn't know that. So
no, I mean that's just.
I'm not saying that, but
yeah.
But you know what I mean?
No. The power could be there. Like he needs to improve the hit tool significantly.
What the heck is going on?
Power from left.
My lights keep flickering, yet I stay on. This is crazy.
I don't know.
We don't have a storm, so like
I'm suckered into TikTok right now, where I'm on the haunted feed. So I get like people's lights that turn on and off. I'm in that part of TikTok right now. I can't get rid of it for my late night scrolling. That's what I have. But. Guerrero, nasty little split change right there.
Yeah. Oh, and he got him at 100.
Shane Drohan did not pitch in this game. Obviously, he was scratched, and they named Guerrero in his place.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to seeing Drohan because it looks like that cutter. Sounds like that cutter has changed his profile a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a big cut. Wasn't a strike though, but
he wasn't cheated.
That's the Yanquiel experience, I guess.
Yeah.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Well, for those not paying attention, the Braves are up 4-0 right now against the Rays. And, the Astros and the Mariners are tied 2-2 in the 6th inning, bottom half.
Yeah, I saw Murphy homered again.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think the key for the Braves is to continually trade with the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah. Rob them of
yeah, well, I mean, the Athletics did get their opening day starter in that deal, Kyle Muller. So
Yeah,
I saw something that Kyle Muller has the worst pitch in all of baseball. Like his fastball is like getting crushed like no other.
Tell you what,
He's-
man, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, like, literally, in the last 7 years since going, to the paywall, maybe it's 8 years now. I wrote something on Twitter and got threatened by Braves fans for saying bad things about Kyle Muller. Like, somebody wanted to kill me over my comments about Kyle Muller.
That's ridiculous.
And, I'm just proud that, like, I was right about Kyle Muller. I hate it for Kyle Muller, but, like, I had a death threat over that.
That's bad. Yeah.
I didn't get death threats, and it's nowhere near this. But I had a former. Well, I guess he's still currently an Oakland A's prospect. His family was up on my DMs, like multiple different family members.
I made sure I never ever talked about that guy, but
that player is still
industry wide.
That player is still in the same level I think he was 3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there was a Braves prospect a long time ago that dad was a convict and threatened to kill and beat up one of my mentors for a scouting report he did.
That's not good.
Not anybody of note, but I'm not going to name his name.
No.
Guys listening. In a very, very rare chance that guy's listening, because the guy waited for this writer literally at his car.
That's awful.
That's not appropriate.
Oh, Mike Vassell. Speaking of guys, like today I saw a bunch of guys withdraw their names from the draft. Remember when Mike Vassell withdrew his name and cost himself several $1 million by doing so?
Yeah.
And then he went to Virginia and didn't find it. Yeah. Yeah.
Like everybody who goes to Virginia, they come out
and we've come full circle. Kyle Teal. Yes, I like Zaffino. I saw Zaffino at Wrigley Field at like one of those showcase events. Such a low release, low slot for a lefty. I thought it might work, but it seems like he stalled out a little bit for their Diamondbacks.
So Vassell's right now the best Mets pitching prospect, correct?
Probably.
Yeah. I like Christian Scott a lot. He's
up there.
Some good stuff.
Florida State arm, right? Christian Scott.
Florida, I think. Gators, right?
Yes, he was a reliever at Florida, and the Mets have made him a starter.
Okay.
I don't mind Tidwell. Like, he's not awful.
Tidwell's been nasty the last few starts.
Yeah.
I just need this because I still am a member of a Mets forum, so I need to be able to talk about whoever the best prospect is that's pitching. I think it's Tidwell, to be honest, but
I've seen a lot of Kyron Paris. I felt like he was always at there were Angels affiliate near me. His family. Shout out to them. We're talking about bad family experiences. His family always shows out whenever you tweet about them. They come out in droves. It's quite nice. They're very supportive. They're very nice people. Good. So they're not going to threaten to kill you in the parking lot.
Okay, so when I see him when I see him for the Trash Pandas, I'll be sure to give him a nice shout out now.
The Trash Pandas can't play a normal game of baseball. Like, it is crazy. Like, they just decided that what was it the other day? Like, they had a walk-off error. It was wild. That team is just nuts.
Yeah. They lost the game to a really bad Lookouts lineup the other day, like 21-4, something like that.
I don't know.
They had that crazy ninth inning earlier in the year, right?
It was a seventh inning, actually, because it was a doubleheader. Yeah, where they had the no-hitter
and then allowed how many runs?
I mean, when you're named after raccoons, your games are going to end up like raccoons. A bunch of garbage sprung out all over the place because they're searching for food. I mean, that's
pretty apt comparison.
If any team plays like their mascot, it's the Rocket City Trash Pandas.
Yeah, that's true.
You didn't know I was going to make those comps, but I've got animal comps at this point.
I have a feeling this might be a 7-inning game. I haven't paid attention to the audio or anything, but they're going to see these pitches pretty fast. So I think Monteverde's is coming in, I would guess, right? He's the only one that really hasn't thrown. The Marlins.
Yeah. I guess so.
There he is. Took Vassell out, so that's just he looked good in his limited time.
What? Do you have a 2
7 pitches maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
got an out, man on first. So the leaderboards on Baseball Savant, most swings and misses. Of course, Jacob Mizorowski's number 1. Joey Cantillo is number 2 on that list. So he has 5. Jacob has 6. Vesta had 4 swing and misses. Tink Hentz 3, and Carson Wisenhunt had 3 as well. So
Good. Those are fun things to take note of in these little one-inning bursts.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's cool that Joey Cantillo is the one that, is number 2 on that list because he's not the guy that would normally be the showcase showcase pitcher.
Yeah. Do you think there's a lot of hiding and protecting guys with how close this event is to the trade deadline? You think a lot of teams are very purposeful with who they put out here, or do you think that doesn't matter?
I don't think it matters. I mean, maybe some guys like Patrick Monteverde. If you're seeing a guy that's maybe not known as a premium prospect, maybe this is a way to get his get eyes from all these organizations.
25 years old in AA.
Yeah. I mean, the surface numbers are good. He comes out here in a short stint and is pumping. Maybe it's like, okay.
He's a guy that it was fun. It was fun reading about him because he started in Division II, went to Division I AA, then went to D1. Throughout his college career, D2, D1 to Texas Tech, and then he's worked for everything he's ever gotten. He's not a big bonus guy. Just the changeup is the moneymaker. It's been fun to watch.
I always love I love the D2 guys. Anybody D2 or below that can get to a high level. Yeah, I mean, and this is a high level. Double A is high level. Gives up a hit there, CNI single.
Drew Gilbert. I think if you could redraft the 2022 draft, he's the first outfielder to go off the board now. More so than Gavin Cross and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I knew some teams just behind him drafting were very high on him. Just behind where he was drafted.
I think Spencer Jones went
go within the next few picks at that point. There were a lot of questions. I mean, there was a lot of questions with some of the offensive output at Tennessee last year. With the potential for shaved bats and that sort of thing.
There was some weird stuff there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's almost like Vanderbilt pitchers with you can't really trust the TrackMan data. Kind of same deal with Tennessee hitters, right?
Well, at least last year, I mean, that was a big thing. And, there was some dirty laundry type stuff that went on in the recruiting of that kid that was suspended at the beginning of the year. You wonder if the head coach might have learned something from that, having been suspended for that. So we'll see.
The Ahuna, Maui Ahuna, right?
Yeah, Maui Ahuna.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, Gilbert should be a fast riser. I mean, he's already up to AA. I mean, it's hard.
Want to hear something funny about that Ahuna thing? I was at a complex with several scouts when that all broke that he wasn't playing in Arizona. And so all these Georgia area scouts all of a sudden are on the phone, frantic, what's wrong? All of this stuff. And I'm going, and I'm hearing things and you don't want to tweet it out, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's game.
That's it.
Let's congratulate. I know that we usually would pick a player of the game, but I think we need to pick a manager of the game. Harold Reynolds did a fine job.
Easy pick.
Star of the game.
Only 5-0 loss. He had so much talent. It
wasn't his fault.
They should have lost.
He pulled the right trigger. He pulled every right move. If you go back, every right move was the same. Who do you have for MVP?
Nasim Nunez, right? The 2 RBI double or triple down the line. Was that what it was? Jacob Mizorowski with the.
I would say Mizorowski, but I don't know if they. Yeah, were they going to pick a pitcher that threw.
Did they actually pick one? I don't know if they do or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to say it's Mizorowski.
Mizorowski for me.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, I guess Nassim, with the 3 RBIs on that double, he probably gets it. If they let Harold Reynolds vote, he'll get it.
Oh, he's going to get it no matter what because Victor Scott's still 2 bags. He's an honorable mention.
Yeah. Really not much offense, honestly. I mean, you walk some guys on base and then they score.
Which is typical for a showcase event when you got guys pumping like they are. But,
Now, this was fun, guys.
It was fun. I'm glad.
Thank you, Matt and Rhys, for inviting me on.
Appreciate it.
No, it was a spur of the moment thing. Rhys kind of talked about it to see if we wanted to do something, and I appreciate you guys on late notice jumping on. Hopefully, you guys had fun. I had a lot of fun just talking.
No, I had a lot of fun. It's always good to get talking to Clegg too. So.
Great guys. You guys want to plug anything before you take off, or did we do enough of that?
Go first.
We can do more.
Clagg's got a lot to plug.
Sure.
Well,
that's why I want to like not be overshadowed.
No. There's a lot of all y'all are doing great stuff, but my work most all my work's at the Dynasty Dugout now. You can find that thedynastydugout.com. You can do free sub, paid sub. I do stuff both sides. All my rankings are behind paywall there, and some of my write-ups go behind paywall too. But I really feel like I've tried to grow as like a scouting side too. So like blending like scouting analytics to like really try to better bring that into the fantasy side. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. The prospects, I'm out at games 2-3 times a week now. So it's been a blast to do that. And so most of my work's there. Twitter at RotoClegg. You can find me there. And I hope Twitter will be around for a long time, but who knows? I made a Threads, but I kind of just copied and pasted some stuff over there. But
you certainly don't need to hear this. You don't need to hear. You don't need somebody like me telling you this. But you've been an incredible Twitter follow lately with everything you've been tweeting out. It's been great.
Appreciate that.
Very helpful. I do the daily sheet and I look up my high A recaps and type in the guy. Clegg tweeted about that guy. Clegg tweeted about that guy already. And I'm doing it at like 7 a.m. So you must be up way earlier than me.
Yeah, high is my area, so that's what I'm seeing every night.
I was going to ask, what time do you wake up in the morning, Clegg? Because like I'm convinced you don't sleep. Like,
no,
I
just have that
energy stuff.
I go to bed really late, so that's what it is. I'm just staying up late and hitting all the. I try to get all the minor league games finished before I go to bed. But.
He's a vampire. We figured it out.
Well, I'll say this, Clegg. Like I've thought you've been a star with Dynasty coverage for a while.
100%.
I think that you've now gotten a whole new aspect to your game. So, I'm not a cheerleader per se, but like keep up the work, man.
Thank you.
It shows your ability, the scouting acronym that you've built up just since we've talked in Arizona has been tremendous. Yeah. So keep up the good work. Dude.
Well, again, it means a lot coming from all of y'all because y'all have done this a long time. I always looked up to your work. And like I said, it's just a learning process of trying to get better every day. And I think that's what we're all trying to do. So that's what I've aspired to do.
Doing it the right way, watching games, watching tape, doing it the way you should do it. It's great.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to we have a lot of things coming up at Baseball HQ. Most of it I have to put together this weekend. So I'll be pretty quiet until the draft tomorrow because I have so much work to do. But it's good content. I've read a lot of the draft capsules that we've done and have prepared. We'll have our top 50 out very soon for the midseason, which if you guys know as rankers is virtually impossible right now. Because
especially sliding in draft picks too. It's impossible.
We're not.
Okay.
We have a true rule there that we don't do that. So
it's probably a smarter rule, honestly, because they're not signed yet. So
yes. And then the big thing that I'm promoting, fantasy baseball symposium that we have called First Pitch Arizona, November 2nd to 5th, and it's at the Sheridan Mesa Wrigleyville in Mesa, Arizona, about 15 minutes from Phoenix Airport, right next door to Sloan. Sloan.
Sloan Park.
Which is Chicago Cubs home, but at that time it's the Mesa Solar Sox home. Registration early bird just expired, but the next registration level, just $379, expires July 31st. I will be out there since I've already made my flight reservations because it was half off it was like half off than what I normally pay on Southwest to get out there. So I'll be there the whole week, October 31st to that next Monday. So, if anybody's out there, come hang out. Like it's a good time. I know that Chris has been there and Matt has been there, and we'll hope to get Rhys there Sunday soon.
I think this might be the year. I think I might finally pull the trigger and everything.
You should, man. You can pretty much walk there. So
right, yeah, basically walk
through the desert, but it's the fall. It's okay.
If you leave now, you'll be all right. You'll make it.
I mean, it's only 100 degrees out right now, so no big deal. Only hotter down there, right?
Sleep during the day.
Yeah.
Hopefully the weather's better this fall. Last year was weird.
It was cold. It was colder.
I know.
It was colder in Arizona than it was at home. I live in Chicago area. I was like, what the hell is this? But they had baseball. I don't have that here, so
that's true.
Yeah,
it was great.
Rhys, you got anything you want to plug, man?
Just the daily sheet right now. I don't know what I'm doing over at Just Baseball. I'm going to be working on probably some stuff after the draft, but we'll see.
There you go.
Got probably some dynasty rankings over there and whatnot. But yeah, just the daily sheet. And keep up to date with the top 30 updates that we do. I know me, you, Jake, Adam, and I'm forgetting the other guy. He's a little less active than the rest of us, but I know we're always bouncing ideas off each other for the top 30 updates and everything. So I those have been fun. Keeps you tangentially help with that. Yeah.
No, it's great. Thank you guys for all jumping on here. Prospects Live, we got the draft update just came out. Mock draft just dropped. We are doing a top 100 with draftees because we like to inflict pain on each other. So that's coming out soon. We're including all the draftees. We're doing a draft.
I'm going to tell you this, Thompson. Like, you're doing yourselves a favor by putting those draftees in there.
It should be nice for later on in the season for end of season stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
And then we are also doing a draft stream tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure who the characters that will be on here, but we're doing a stream similar to this with the draft. So yeah, that'll be fun. And I mean, can't thank you guys enough for coming on, and ended up being a little bit longer than maybe we wanted to, but it was fun. It was a blast. I got nothing else to do. I was going to watch the game anyway, so I might as well watch and talk to some of my guys. You're not going to get much scouty stuff on this one inning showcase thing. So you don't have to be locked in to watch it, but it's fun to have on. And I mean, we learned a lot talking to you guys. You guys are the greatest. And thanks for having on. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Peace out.
Thank y'all.
All right, later.